Let's start streaming, baby. Here you go. Let's see. Alrighty then. Okay. What's up, everybody? We have Aaron Bowley here today. Let's see who joins though. Usually I get like a whole bunch of people coming in. Let's see let's see what still happens though. I haven't done live stream in a while.
Yeah.
Let's see. Go on Twitter.
I've actually never live streamed.
Oh, I used to do it a lot, but just recently because you know life changed, so I did a little lesser now. But yeah.
Yeah. Is it the same phenomenon where Twitter took over?
Yeah, honestly, sort of. Yeah, I just kind of switched both for a little bit. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's funny. A few months ago, not that I was gonna make it like a career on YouTube or anything like that. I just started to, for the first time in my life, like actually making content and uploading it. Mainly just doing like, just like a. I would have people asking me questions about companies, stocks, like whatever.
Right.
Sometimes I get the same question over and over. So I started just like like okay, I can just like make a quick video and whatever. But I was excited to be doing it, having fun with it. And then it just ended up being such a weird thing where I thought that maybe I was going to be doing something on YouTube, and then Twitter comes along, and it's like, oh, that became like my platform. So
It kind of took over.
Yeah, just out of the blue. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, I saw you on Twitter more often too. I mean, I saw you. Oh, okay, guy looks pretty cool. Let's see if he wants to talk or something. So, and you seem like a crypto guy, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, crypto stocks. I'm definitely not an expert, but I know a thing or two. I've got a lot of opinions too. So.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, I just want to say what's up, everybody, to the Hey John Show. We have Aaron Bowley here today, so we're gonna talk crypto. You can ask some questions and blah blah blah. So, welcome, Aaron. Here, he's sounds like a pretty cool dude. So let's see what we got here today, right?
Yeah, we'll see how cool I am.
You're pretty cool, man. I see some of your tweets like, oh, I like this guy already. A little controversial. I'm like, all right, that's my kind of guy.
Yeah, you know what? That's a funny thing. I do like to be nice and positive, but if I see something that I don't like, I'm gonna say it.
Right. I noticed that. I'm kind of the same way too. So I'm like, oh, okay, this should be fun.
Yeah, and it's like if people are gonna be following me, I'd rather them follow me for like actual me rather than some like pretend version.
Oh right. Oops, my bad. There you go. I had the wrong screen up. Amateur thing. I haven't done streaming in a while. I'm like, oh, whoops. My bad. Yeah, man. So like, tell us a little about yourself, man.
Yeah, no, that's the question I was like afraid of because like man, like what about me?
Whatever, man.
I guess I'll start with yeah. So I mean, like honestly, like my previous career was in music. So out of high school, I started yeah, I was basically a drummer.
Oh.
And then out of high school, I started teaching music. Very grateful for that opportunity. That was a cool gig, and that got me into playing more instruments. So I picked up the guitar, bass, piano, and everything. And so I ended up getting some recording equipment, and that just somehow recording my own stuff led me to recording friends' projects, which led me to recording bands and getting more equipment, and that turned into like my full-time gig for a while.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, I used to produce bands, albums, help people with their music, do the I would do it all basically, audio engineering, everything. And then I was fortunate enough to get to like tour the country. That was a really cool experience. And then but the thing is though, I realized when I was doing that I'm like kind of a really big nerd, and so I'd always be thinking about science and technology and just like the world, and music it wasn't fulfilling enough for me, so I kind of quit everything. I dropped out of it, and just decided to find a new path, which was basically me stumbling around trying to figure out what the hell I want to do in life. And it was basically, I would say, almost like maybe like 8, 9, 10 years before I really figured out what it is I want to do. And so, yeah, I'm definitely cutting up some corners here in my story, but basically what happened is to relate it back to like stocks and crypto. I was working this job. I just became the general manager of it. It was kind of like my dream gig in a certain way. I was, and but then, and what was it, like September, November? I started getting into stocks, which was literally because of like Elon and Tesla, where like if you remember, like back in like March of this last year,
Right.
that Tesla became super super cheap, and my boss at the time, he had a bunch of Tesla stock, and I was such a Tesla fan and everything, I just never invested. And then there I was watching it go from I think like $300 a share to $2,500, and it was like, what am I doing? Why aren't I investing? And so that got me into doing like a little bit of like research. And so I was like, what's out there? What's the competition? That got me into Neo. I don't know if you're familiar with that
Yeah,
company,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah. So that got me into that, which also got me into like ARK Invest. And are you familiar with ARK? I assume everyone is, but
Yeah, Kathy
maybe
Wood.
some people aren't.
Yeah, man.
Exactly, yeah. And so
Well, not everyone,
that
but
was
yeah.
just like, yeah, yeah. But like, I mean, everyone should know if you're into investing. And so that was basically a revelation for me, just the fact that they were so open with their information, with their research, and that just led me from other cool company to cool company, um, and uh, and basically like the research paid off. I was able to find some great opportunities. It was I wouldn't say maybe rich or anything like that, but it was enough money to maybe sort of realize that like I don't have to necessarily be working this job, or that I have possibly an opportunity to do something else.
Oh,
And so yeah, back in February, I walked out of my job. I was sitting on this small chunk of change. I was looking at my paychecks and just being like, man, like for the time I'm spending and everything, I was like, like I don't necessarily need to live with myself. So I walked out, just quit, never went back. And I've actually right now been on sort of like a journey to sort of just figure out, what do I even want to do? And the first few months, I was like, oh shit, maybe this is a mistake, because I was also earlier in school for computer science, and I dropped out of that too, because I'm a firm believer, I don't know if it's like my ADHD or whatever, but I really think that like people do their best and learn their best and perform their best when they're really following like what they're passionate about. And so I just was going with that. Basically, I was just like, you know what, like I don't know what is going to happen, but I love music, I love technology, I love research. I do animating, I do 3D work. A little coding, a little bit of like game development. So it's like again, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something. And so, like I said before, like the first few months, I was like, maybe this is a bad idea, or maybe I should go back to that job, or get back in school. But the cool thing is that with Twitter, it's been almost like, and I still don't have a clear vision, but it's been almost like guiding me in certain ways, like meeting all these people that are so awesome and interesting from all over the place with different backgrounds. It's almost like it's like pulling me in these really cool directions. And so I'm getting opportunities to do animation for people, to do music with people, and again it's just like coming out of nowhere. And so yeah, that's a little bit of my story.
oh wow, that's pretty cool, man. Since I guess you mentioned this the whole stock thing in February and March, so he's like a newcomer to the stock game. It sounds like. Am I correct? Or
Yeah,
okay,
in a way, yeah. So like, I mean, like back in the day, like when I was in my music career, my girlfriend at the time and we did invest. So, but like it was so different back then. Like back then, you had like a brokerage. So back then it was like Scottrade. I don't know if anyone knows that. But you would have an actual like physical broker that you would work with, and so there
yeah,
was like an online aspect to it. But a lot of times you'd actually like call someone or go to the office and work with these people. And again, like, back then it was more just like you put your money in and you're supposed to hold it for 5, 10, 20 years. That was how you did it back then, right? So buying like something like Netflix or like Amazon or Apple or Starbucks, things like that.
right.
And it made a little bit of money, but it wasn't like what was happening now with like Robinhood and WEBULL and all these sort of gamified apps that to me make it a lot more fun, interesting, and definitely a lot faster. So yeah, I did have some experience a little bit with investing, but
Uh,
it definitely ramped up in the last like year or so.
oh, I see.
For sure, yeah. So I think September was when I first purchased Neo. I believe it was at like $16 a share. I also ended up buying some Tesla at the split, which was a very good decision, and a few other things. But I would say like when I really started getting into it was, yeah, exactly like September, November, December, where I would wake up every morning at
At
6
6:30,
and
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Market's open. I'm ready. Yeah, yeah, I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm reading and reading, and I just did
Right,
so much research and learning to the point where I didn't even realize it, but I became pretty good at it and pretty knowledgeable.
right.
To where I had friends that went to school for these types of things, for finance or business, whatever.
Yeah.
They were coming to me for advice and for tips and stuff, and I was like, what? And so, yeah, yeah. How about you? I know you're interviewing me, but like, what's a little bit of your story?
Well, I mean, for me, for Dogecoin, I got into it recently, probably like somewhere like beginning of this year. The whole
Yeah,
Elon
yeah.
thing. Before that, I always knew about cryptocurrency, but I've always been a stock guy. I've been probably trading for like maybe I think 15 years or now. I don't know how long. It's been a while though.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've just been doing it for a while, but it's always been kind of my side passion for the most part. Well, anyways, and I remember a few years back, me and my buddy were sitting on work, and then he was like, "Dude, you buy Dogecoin?" I'm like, "What the, what the hell is this? Some Dogecoin?" And
Yeah,
I mean, just like 3 or 4 years back, when you could buy $20 for like 10,000 pieces or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, "No, I'm gonna buy this crap, dude." He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna buy it." I'm like, "All right." So he bought. He kind of did it for fun. And now he's like, "Dude, look, guess what?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Oh, I have this much money now." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's nice, dude." So that's kind of why I started buying some too, because I was like, "What is Dogecoin?" So I mean, I always knew about cryptocurrency, but I was on a bandwagon. When you watch all the news and everything, like, oh yeah, it's kind of like just fake money or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've always been a stock guy. So I'm like, no, this is kind of garbage. Like Bitcoin, I'm like garbage too. But now it's like, okay, you
Yeah.
know what? Once I actually put some research into it, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, this is quite interesting, actually. But initially, I just like, no, forget it, dude. I mean, and I always, I always kind of day trade a little bit too in stocks as well in my college days. So I mean, this is probably like when you have TD Ameritrade or E Trade or those kind of things.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a brokerage too, but back then you paid like $8 or $10 per trade, so $20 round trip. So
Exactly.
so before you're mentioning how like, oh, back then the brokerage it was different to now, I'm like, it's really the same thing, to be honest. The only difference is the fees are kind of gone now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the interface is a little more user friendly, but it's really the same thing in my opinion, because even 15 years ago when I was doing on TD Ameritrade, it was the interface is very similar. You buy and sell, you put your stop loss or trailing loss or whatever you want to do, really. So to me, I don't see a difference from back then until today. The only difference is that now
Yeah.
it's on your phone. Before, it's on your PC and you kind of do that kind of thing, but it's a little more, I guess, freedom, I guess, wise in terms of how it's easily accessible in your pocket, opposed to sitting on a desk and doing it.
Yeah, and I guess on that point, I think it's also just like I hear a lot of people saying that they didn't have. I mean, I didn't get. So I come from a very like low income family, so investing was like never something that we would talk about, or that was a thing for like rich people. And so also in high school, middle school, high school, whatever, they don't really discuss these things with you. So like if you're fortunate enough to like be aware of it or know someone that does or have family that does it, then you might know about these things like day trading. But if you're on the outside of it, it just seems like such a far out there. Again, for people on
Right,
Wall Street or whatever,
right,
people don't even realize that they have the ability to make money like this.
right,
And so basically that when I did it then, I was just so uneducated on it, which I hate to admit, but that's just the reality of it. Like my life just like and I grew up in a wealthy area, but again, it was like
right,
I was in one of the the few very very poor people there, and so yeah, when it's crazy to me the lack of, and I almost feel like they do it on purpose. I mean, they could easily be teaching classes in high school about stocks and investing. They'll teach you everything else except how to actually make money the way that people who anyway. So yeah, so again, like back then, it was just like if you didn't take some sort of class or know people, then it was basically just hey, just let your money sit there, and basically it was like let the brokerage gets to play with your money. You know what I mean?
right.
So yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, I mean, well, I don't know about you, but you said you were, I guess, the poorest kid in the rich area. Well, I was the poorest kid in the poorest area. So, I mean,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of that kind of thing, when you say they or them, don't teach you, I think it just depends on the class you take. I think for me, my exposure to in high school was taking AP economics. And
Yeah, yeah.
my teacher just happened to be into stocks too, so he kind of explained why you want to do stocks and everything. So I kind of
See,
that
that's
that's
awesome.
kind of
See.
where my interest peaked into it. And obviously I had money back then, so I was like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. But I was working, at a fast food job, like 10 hours a week or whatever, just stacking like $5 an hour or whatever it was back then. So
Yeah.
and just kind of play with it, play with that kind of money for the most part. But it's one of those kind of things where you just gotta do it if you want to do it. Really, it's not about someone teaching you per se. Because if you're waiting for someone to teach you, then well, you'll be waiting your whole life.
Yeah. And that's a
I'm just
great point
saying.
because like
I'm just saying.
I basically had to teach myself. Like I was watching videos and
Right.
digesting other people's information, but it really just came down to me doing it
Right.
and learning from experience
Right.
and especially I'm sure you know like learning from mistakes is like the best way to learn because
Oh
it's like
yeah.
it's one thing to like put some money into something and then it does well, but you don't learn a lot from that. It's when it goes down. It's when you lose some money
Right.
that you're like, what did I do wrong? Like, and it just teaches you to educate yourself even better. Because I've definitely done pretty well on with my investments, but I've
Right.
also done some really stupid things,
Right.
And those are
Right.
the times where you're just like, oh man, like you mentioned something earlier, like with Doge. One of my huge mistakes was that like I actually bought some back in November and December. And so, like at that point for like $100, you could have like, 15,000 or more, maybe
Right.
20,000 Dogecoin. But at that point, I was just getting so excited about, these stocks, in that bull market. Like everything was crazy. Like you put your money in anything and you're making money. And so I made the stupid mistake of being like, well, I'm looking at Dogecoin and it's just like trading sideways. It's not doing anything.
Right.
And even my couple $100 in there, I didn't need to pull that money out, but I
Right.
sold a lot of my Dogecoin just because I was like, oh well, I can put it in the stock, I can put it in Tesla, and like whatever.
Right.
And I don't fully regret it because that money, did okay. But
Right.
at the same time, like I could have had an extra 20, 30, whatever thousand Dogecoin,
Right.
and
Right.
of course I got rid of it. And so that just really taught me to like not be so greedy, and just
Right.
let something really just sit there. And like if you're gonna say that you're gonna wait a year, follow through with that is would be like one of my opinions or tips I would say.
Right. Okay. Roy Gold says, have you guys seen the Netflix TV series startup? I'm watching it now. It's great about the gem coin, starting gem coin. Wait, what?
Have you seen that one?
Oh, startup. Oh, my bad. I just read through it. I didn't realize it's called startup.
Yeah, yeah, I actually did watch it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a fun one. I don't want to spoil anything, so I don't know how much I should say on it. I don't regret watching it. I will say I wasn't happy with the third season.
Oh, okay.
But I think the first two seasons are pretty strong.
I watched a little bit of it too, but I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm like one thing I do like is that I love violence in movies. I love action and I love gore, and there's some really great scenes in there. So
Oh
I try
yeah.
not to spoil anything, but
It's okay. You can
some of
spoil it,
the
man. Don't worry. You can spoil it.
yeah, yeah, some of the action scenes I think were fantastic.
Yeah.
And what was this? Was it Ron? Was that his name in the show? Like
Roy
kind of the
Roy
uh,
Gold, I think.
um, but yeah, he was definitely my favorite character by far.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. That show is pretty good actually.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
no quality voice on Mr. Bowley, really? I came just fine. I mean, yeah.
Oh, if there's anything I can do on my end.
No, you sound funny to me too. I don't get it. I see
Yeah.
my thing here. It's kind of like your audio. It's kind of moving around. You talk, so I'm like, okay, it's green, so it's moving around. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's not
Maybe I'll try to talk louder.
I don't know. I guess I'll make it louder. I guess on my desktop, maybe that'll help it out. The gain, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. So are you still holding Dogecoin, or are you kind of just like all in Tesla?
Oh yeah. So honestly, when it comes to Doge, I personally completely stopped caring about the price. It's out of Doge's hands at this point, you know, like, and it's a few things. It's the community, and it's also just like the whole crypto market. I do think a lot of these like alts and sort of like shit coins are eating up a lot of money. I also think some of these things kind of were getting inflated, like, uh, maybe we can get more into it in a bit, but
Yeah.
like my biggest concern is like bots and these whales that have I don't know how much you've looked at some like these wallets, but you can see these things that literally trade thousands of transactions per day, and they
Right.
have millions of dollars in them. And you know, I have my theories about how they do these things, but I really do feel like they go through. I think they look at Reddit. I think they look, you know, on Facebook, on Twitter. They look at something. In my opinion, and I don't have proof of this, but what I feel like is going on is that you know, they have these algorithms and they look for what's trending, and then they also look at what's being actually purchased. And I think they kind of line it up. So it's like if something's new, it's getting pumped up on Twitter, for example, and Reddit, and you know, it's getting a lot of shares and tweets and mentions, and money's going into it. I think these bots just like start pumping it up, because you look at them and they tend to spike as soon as they kind of come out at their like ICO. And then a lot of times like these bots basically dump millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
Like I remember seeing a project go from having like $40,000 to going to having $3 million, and now it's back to where it started, you know. And so
Right.
you have all these people that were like buying on the way up when it hit $1 million. People are getting excited, you know, sharing like, oh look, 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 look. And then guess what happens? These bots dump and they're on to another project and another project. And so that's my big concern.
That's
I don't
funny.
know what's going to be done about that. But,
Nothing.
yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, oh man. So yeah, as for like Dogecoin, I'm definitely holding, and I keep buying. Like, you
Right.
know, I buy the dips. I'm not too stressed about when it's going to hit 50 cents or $1. I do think it's kind of in our hands, and I think like the ultimate catalyst is just getting it to be used more places. You know, that's really what it's going to come down to. I think Robinhood being able to get it off of there, that's going to be a really big deal, because like honestly, that's where the majority of mine is. So you know, I'm kind of a hypocrite. I can't really use it. I do have it on a couple other things, but the bulk of it is on there. Also because like then I don't get rid of it. But yeah, how about you?
I've been a few places. I have some in cold storage. I have some on Robinhood. I have some on what's it called again? Other app. I don't remember what it's called. I don't really.
Like
I
or
no. It's one of those.
there's so many apps too. There's Trust. There's MetaMask.
No. Why would actual cold wallet itself, kind of like on a USB stick?
Yeah, like a ledger.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those apps. Let me see what it's called. The app. I remember it's called. I don't check it anymore. I just leave it there. It's like it just sits there.
Yeah.
Oh, Uphold. There you go. Uphold.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I know some people look at it and stress, and they're like, oh, you know, it's red, but I'm just like, I don't care at all.
Yeah, I'm not the same way, dude. I mean, like, you know, that's kind of why I always tell folks, you know, like, you don't buy something like this, you know, it's not a get rich quick scheme here. It's gonna be one of those things where it's gonna take a long ass time.
Yeah, that's another thing that when it comes to crypto is that like so many people are getting into it because they think it's like easy money.
It is easy money.
It is, and then it's also easy to lose money.
Exactly. Easy come, easy go, right?
Yeah.
Oh snap! Speaking of which, easy go. Dogecoin is breaking down to 16,896 right now. Holy cow!
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah. It's...
honestly, I'm probably gonna buy some more.
Yeah, man. I mean, Dogecoin has definitely been on a tear. You know, what I mean, it's been just losing money left and right. And you know, before you mention it, Aaron, how it's like, oh, because of all these shit coins or whatever's. But the truth is, these little shit coins, they don't really have enough monetary power to really bring down Dogecoin. To me, the real issue of Dogecoin is just people selling it. Like you and I, we're just selling it. You know, I don't think it's necessarily folks, you know, going out of Dogecoin into these shit coins. I mean, yes, they are doing that, but we look at the market cap, right? Maybe $1 million, $5 million here, right? And yeah. Dogecoin's like what, 5 billion? I mean, I don't know what it is right now. Is it 5 billion or something? Let me check real quick on CoinMarketCap. What is?
I think it's around like 20 or something.
Oh, 22 billion. Sorry, $22.237 million, right? So you see a $5 million shit coin. It's like it's really not gonna do anything to Dogecoin, to be honest here. But it does cause a lot of arguments on Twitter, though. That's definitely what it causes.
And I think what it does is that people, you know, I think kind of like then start to stop buying. Because like, okay, I'll put it this way: there's still like a serious lack of education when it comes to crypto. Like,
agreed.
A good example is like, there's people who will buy into some coin or have some that's donated to them or whatever. Like, I'm not going to name any particular ones because, like, you know, but okay.
Why not? Just name it. Who cares?
Okay.
I don't care, dude. I don't care.
So I am gonna talk about the herpes one.
There you go.
But I'm not a hater of it. You know, because I know the people that work on that project.
I like herpes too.
Yeah. And so, and one thing I will say that I like about something like that is like when it's people having fun, and maybe trying to do some good, or you know, just if they're getting something out of it that's even more than just like trying like financial gain,
right?
I think that's cool. So if they're having fun, they're learning about cryptocurrency,
right?
I think that's fine.
Right.
The thing that concerns me, and it's really to do with more of like the I mean, there's so many BSC tokens.
Oh yeah.
And so the point I'm trying to make is like, you know, I have some friends that have some of that coin.
Yeah.
And they have about, let's say, $10 worth of it.
Yeah.
Which is
nothing.
Like trillions of coins.
Right.
And some of these people are people that are in crypto spaces. They talk all the time. They learn all the time.
Yeah.
You would think they know better, but they're actually looking at their holding of these 11 trillion or however many trillion.
Makes you feel good, man.
Talking about but they're talking about what happens in when it gets to a penny or to 10 cents or to $1.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's shocking, and I don't want to, you know. I mean, I love them, but it's just like it's shocking to me that people could still be looking at these things and don't even know what the market cap, what the total volume of you know, or the pool of coins. So like for that one, I think it's like 696 quadrillion. You know, so for that to reach $1 would take what? It's like $700 quadrillion, which is more money that exists in the entire world. And so it's just crazy that people can be on Twitter all the time for months and in these spaces, but still not understand some of these basics or do their due diligence. And you know, I don't know how exactly to get people to learn about these things and educate themselves more. But that's, to me, that's still a huge problem. Where I had the same experience like with stocks, where people, they wanted to know what to invest in, but they didn't want to know what they were investing in, as in the actual company. Like they just want to be like, okay, what's the ticker? And then I'll throw money at it. And it's like, wait, like a good example would be like in real life, you wouldn't put money into, like, let's say someone just comes up to you in the street and they're like, oh, I have this business. You know, I claim that it's going to be doing well. Like, would you give that person your money? Like, absolutely not. Especially if you don't know the CEOs, who works there, who's the CFO, you know, what is their history, where have they worked before? But they're going to do that 1000% in these companies. Like, I figure if you don't know who the CEO is, who actually runs the company, who works there, the history of the company, you know, then why are you doing this? But again, people are just like so. I don't know, just a little too excited at this, like you were saying, like easy money.
Right.
And it's not easy.
No, it's easy for someone, just not for you and I.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess what is that? The funny thing is that how you kind of mentioned that right here, right? And then you mentioned how you buy Tesla, and I guess you're an Elon fanboy or something. I mean, so am I, by the way, you know. But the thing is, you know, whenever Elon tweets here, right, he just buys stuff right away. They don't even care what it is. And case in point, I mean, if you follow Elon, like I guess you're a fanboy here. I think a few months back, I forget when exactly, but Elon Musk basically threw a tweet out saying, hey, you know what? You guys should use the Signal app right here, right? And everyone started buying the Signal stock. But the thing is, Signal is actually a not-for-profit privacy texting app right here, right? And I personally use myself as well with all my friends here, so I knew what it was. So I'm like, wait, what? And I think all these tweets, oh, I'm buying Signal, blah blah blah, and the stock skyrocketed. But I'm like, bro, he actually means the app to text with, but so I guess kind of alluding back to what you're saying, how people just buy stuff randomly. Well, there you go. There's a whole crowd of that.
Yeah. Like he sort of inadvertently mentioned, or I guess basically used the word baby with the word Doge, and then goes and buys baby Doge, and obviously there's nothing to it.
Exactly. There you go.
And then and then it tanks.
Yeah, I mean, we saw here on July 17th on Saturday here, right? Elon Musk put some new Doge shades. I have some still right here, my little Doge shades, right? You see Dogecoin go to like 20 cents, and now it's back to where it was, you know, just because of some little picture of a his profile picture change. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know, man. I think I mean, as much as like Elon, sometimes I think the guy shouldn't tweet as much. You know, it's kind of like you know. It's kind of like the economy here, right? We get all this QE, you know what I'm saying? QE1, great. QE2, the effect goes lesser. QE3, the effect goes lesser, you know? It's kind of like a patient on drugs, you know? You need a bigger dose each time to get the same effect. So I feel like Elon needs to kick back on his tweets, you know what I mean? If he wants a good effect, you know? People just, you know, they buy and sell real quick, and honestly, it doesn't look good for Dogecoin that way, you know what I mean? Because it looks like a pump and dump.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna ask you real quick, are you still into stocks, or have you? I know some people have like completely left that and gone all crypto.
Oh no!
I'm curious where you're at.
No. I still do stocks too, but you know, it's just a little. I'm more a buy and hodl kind of guy. I believe more in timing the market than trying to time the market. So, I mean, I still have most of my stocks. I don't really liquidate it to sell to go buy something else because of one thing is tax implications. It's two, you know, I'd rather get my long-term gains out of it instead of day trading. I mean, I did it when I was younger, but now you're kind of older. It's like, you know what? It is not fun. It's too time consuming. Yeah, full-time gig. There's honestly no time for it. So it's better to invest. So I have the same approach with Dogecoin and Bitcoin as well. I just kind of nibble here and there. You know what I mean? I don't go crazy with it, but I do accumulate over time. And well, that's me at least. You know, I just kind of just throw some money here and there. You know, I'm not trying to go like all YOLO, all in, like Pro the Doge or Lucy or whoever else is doing this kind of stuff. I mean, you know, real life adulting stuff, I guess. I mean, I guess you can, but it's a little different. You get older, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's an interesting thing because like I technically, if I'm being completely honest, I actually feel more strongly about stocks than I do crypto right now.
Of course.
But here's why. Is it like, you know, cryptocurrency is cool, and I do believe that it is, you know, blockchain and everything, that it is most likely the future of money. I'm for it in all that way. But the thing is, there's still like things that need to be done in the world, and it's these companies that are the ones doing the things. So like, for example, like a Tesla or a NIO or you know, like for example, like gene editing. You know, there's no crypto that's going to solve that problem. You know, it's not going to be crypto that solves the cure for cancer or for Parkinson's or something like that. Like, and so there's still a lot of like things that need to be done in the world. You know, I do wish that it'd be cool if there was a stronger connection between cryptocurrency. Like, if I could invest my cryptocurrency into stocks, I think that'd be really amazing.
Right.
But you know, so I would prefer if it wasn't still, you know, fiat or cash or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, like, so, and that's why like I'm still technically a little bit more into stocks. Is just because like there's still so many important things that need to happen, and you know, amazing changes that are going to be happening. So
right. Oh, so speaking of that, I guess the future of cryptocurrency and the blockchain here. Are you aware of what Jay Powell is doing recently? I guess today.
Oh yeah, I know. You know what? I actually I completely have not been paying attention to that at all. So, do you have any info on it, or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I'll summarize real quick. You know, TLDR kind of thing. Well, basically, Jay Powell is kind of bashing it, saying, you know what, we need to give cryptocurrency, blah blah, because we want to have, you know, our own U.S. you know, blockchain. I think it's I forgot what it's called already. Something US blockchain, but it's essentially supposed to get rid of all the stable coins like Tether and, you know, whatever stable coins they are, you know. So basically, you're gonna replace those stable coins like Tether with the US version of that. You know what I mean? And so
that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it happening though, because the thing is, right now with Tether and all those kind of things, you know, they get audited every few months here, right? And you've seen, and if you've ever seen the Tether audit report, it looks super sketchy.
Really?
Oh, I mean, like, I mean, because, you know, I guess as a stable coin, you're supposed to have a certain amount of cash reserve, right? Because Tether is using the US dollar as a, you know, backup or comparison or whatever's. So they're supposed to have X amount of US dollars here, right? But the thing is, with Tether, they leverage like 8 or 10x of that money there. So, I mean, if you look at it closely, it's like, wait, you don't really have the cash reserves, but you have a derivative of the cash, and you are using that to kind of fill in your coverage. So it's super sketchy. When I see that, I'm like, okay. That doesn't look right to me, but but you know what, you're making money, I guess, whatever, right? That's the way the world works right here, right? You make money, who gives a shit?
Yeah, and you bring up something really important, because I'm not sure if you know, like, I host these sort of like political slash crypto spaces. If Jenny Ta, and Dogecoin Militia. We've done a few of them so far,
right?
But what we're doing is we're trying to raise awareness of the fact that, like, it's really important that we get new elected officials, whether it's in the Senate, Congress, or whatever. There's so much against us when it comes to cryptocurrency. Banks, obviously, like financial institutions, like they really don't want us to have our financial freedom. And that's why it's so important that we get new people in office that are actually going to fight for it. And I hope these things kind of drag on for a while, and
right.
Don't get too regulated, just because like we really want to make sure that we get the right people in there.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I hear what you're saying though, but I mean, like, I think Joe Biden, he's probably gonna want to tax it sooner rather than later. So by regulation, and when I hear the word regulation in terms of cryptocurrency, what I'm hearing is not so much like, oh, okay, let's control it and let's make sure we can smash it and destroy it. That's not what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is, let's figure out how we can tax the shit out of this thing here to shore up all our QE stuff, and all our spending.
Exactly.
That's what I'm hearing, really, because in my opinion here, I don't think that the government wants to control like 10,000 different cryptocurrencies. For them, it'll be a nightmare. It'll be a nightmare. But however, though, from what I know, I'm not sure if it was a Biden administration, but one of the administrations, they did have some MIT grads come in, where MIT actually does, like, blockchain technology, and they're trying to understand how it works, so they can track stuff here, right? To obviously tax you, to make sure you report your taxes, because as of right now, it's kind of a mystery. It's kind of more like hey, I'm gonna assume you're gonna do the right thing. It's kind of like if you're vaccinated, you don't wear a mask here, right? But then it's like, okay, the honor system. But let's be honest, so how many folks nowadays have the honor? I mean, I'm not trying to be, oh my god, I hate humanity, but let's be real though, right? If you don't gotta do it, you're not gonna do it. I don't think I could trust you, because A, I don't know you, right? And B, you don't know me. So in my opinion here, you're gonna need someone to kind of step in and say, you know what, you gotta do X, Y, and Z. So when I hear that, I'm thinking, you know what, they just want to tax the hell out of it, and I'm okay with that. They should tax it though, honestly, because it's an asset class and you're making money off it, so you should pay your taxes, right? As an American citizen, but only the issue is that if you're from, like, say, UK or France or whatever is here, then it gets a little more convoluted here. And I know for a fact, was it Cuba or Haiti? I forget, one of those little countries on a southeast of Florida. Basically, if you go there, right, and you live there for over 6 months, you basically can set up a corporation there, and you can sell your cryptocurrency over there, and you pay 0 taxes, and then you can repatriate your money back to America and bring it back all in tax free. Think of it as getting 35 to 30% gains for free, because normally that's what you would get taxed at, right? So I think
I was gonna say is
yes,
like,
Puerto Rico, yes.
So awesome. I mean, it's gonna be so difficult to track. So the taxation is gonna be interesting, because of course you're gonna find people who are gonna do anything they can to not get taxed.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, Puerto Rico. Yep. And so I think it's hilarious, But I think when the government kind of mentioned that kind of news, Monero just went to the moon, I believe, when that happened, because Monero is pretty much like there's no tracking it. It's literally like having cash on a blockchain where it goes wherever it goes, and you have no idea who gets what, because they kind of privatize it. I mean, I guess it works, but obviously there's gonna be a lot of shitty tactics here, like what's that thing called, ransomware or whatever that I guess hacking gang from Russia or whatever it's called, whatever alias they have here, right? Basically what I'm kind of reading here and seeing here on the news and these articles is that these companies that literally it's a company here, right? And they're kind of sophisticated, right? You know, it isn't just, oh, me and you, we're kind of hacking someone here and give me your money here. No, it's actually, it's an actual company. They have HR and everything here. It's like a whole actual legitimate company, and they hack people and they take their money here, right? And then when they got to cash their money out, it looks like they are using mules in a sense where, okay, I'm gonna give these Bitcoins to this person here, and basically you will cash it out for me and go somewhere in the desert, dig a hole, put that cash there, and I'll come pick it up later on or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's some like crazy shit going on here. It's freaking hilarious. So yeah, man, I mean, like, I don't know, man, but it's definitely gonna be some super sketchy stuff here. And I don't know, man, but the thing is that if I see any stocks where I see them saying the word security and blockchain technology, I think that's gonna be a company you want to look into also, in my opinion here.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be the future, man. You know, because
that reminds me. I remember I got into Riot and Mara way back in the day when they were like $2, but I ended up selling them because it's one of the few times where like I didn't do any research on them at all. It's so funny. There's this little YouTube channel. I think it's called like Investing for Dummies. It's not popular, not well known, but like somehow they popped up on my feed one day, and I checked some of their things out.
Yeah.
And some of the things that this little channel called back then have done so incredibly well. And yeah, I remember like they brought up Mara. And if you know, like it's gone from like $2 to I don't know if it's in the 20, 30, 40, but it's done it incredibly well. So yeah. Anyway.
Amara, I never heard of it. What is it anyways? What is that?
Yeah, it's a marathon patent. Let me look it up real quick.
Oh, marathon.
Since I'm talking about it.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but it's like that's one of those things where it's like research is so important. Because marathon digital, it was at $2 and now it's at 22 right now.
Oh, I see.
But it's been at, let's see, 31. I think it's been higher than that too. 34, $37. Yeah, from $2 to $37.
I see. But what do they do though?
Yeah. And again, I stopped looking into them because I'm just so upset at myself.
Okay.
They work in mining and blockchain. So yeah.
I see.
Honestly, I don't even know what that means when it comes to the digital asset technology company, which engages in mining cryptocurrency,
right?
With a focus on anyway. So
that's funny.
Are they a farm basically?
Basically, yeah.
I was just like, but I was basically like, you know what? I missed the boat, so I'm never gonna look at them again.
I got you. You're very resentful. Gotcha. I'm just kidding.
At myself though. Man.
I'm just teasing.
I'm like, I don't deserve this anymore.
But actually, it's kind of funny. You mentioned actual companies doing mining farms here. I think somewhere in New York, next to this lake or something. I guess that's kind of where they get, I guess, cheap hydropower. Literally, somebody or some company went there, and they started having a bunch of miners, like just mining Bitcoins or whatever's. And I guess all the heat they're generating here, right? It's actually raising the temperature of the lake by a few degrees.
Oh wow.
And people were like, what the hell? We're getting algae growth because of raised temperature, and the fish are kind of like, I guess, not reproducing. And the fish aren't reproducing as much because it's too hot or something. So it's actually super interesting. Like I guess there is some environmental impact on mining these kind of things.
No wonder we just had like the heat wave. It's from all the mining.
Seriously, right? The heat wave. Are you somewhere in the West Coast? If you say heat wave.
Yeah. In the Seattle area.
Oh, really?
And so like just not recently we had like. I know one of the days it hit like 111 degrees. I'm like, that's
really,
broke records.
Wow. I mean, Seattle is kind of more like shady and rainy, no? Or am I thinking something else?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like our weather is all over the place. We're definitely known for our rain.
Yeah, because I was there maybe 2 years ago, and I'm like, it was kind of like very cloudy and kind of foggy and kind of just moody. It wasn't really like hot or anything. So I'm like, really? 111 degrees over there? Okay. That's crazy. It sounds like LA weather where it goes crazy hot and dry.
And it's weird here because like the weather will flip on a dime. Like it could be like overcast, and it'll be like raining, and then it'll be like super sunny, all like
Oh,
in the same day. Like
oh wow.
it's pretty weird. Yeah.
Well, I guess you get 4 season weather there. I guess you get all the seasons. I guess all the seasons.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. But it's beautiful here. So.
Aaron, I did have a question for you because you did mention that I guess you're a little, I guess, newish or whatever, But when you say research, maybe you can share with the audience here. But what do you mean by research? I'm just kind of
Yeah, and actually, I thank you for asking that question because that's also something that I want to evolve is my research.
Right.
And I'll explain a little bit what I mean. And so
Sure.
I would say like some easy ones would be like watching YouTube content.
Right.
You do want to be careful like who you listen to. I'm a person where like even if it like if I'm learning how to repair something or fix something or how to do something, I always watch multiple videos so I get basically I'm getting advice from like more than one source.
Right.
So if I'm doing like a phone repair, like I will be doing like a replacing the rear camera on my Pixel 4 XL.
Oh wow, it's a new phone too.
And so and when I do that, I like I said, like I watch at least 3 videos on the same repair because everyone's going to have a different technique or style. Obviously, some things could be the same.
Right.
I've seen videos where someone does it wrong, or like doesn't disconnect the battery first, or when they needed to, or so you always learn little things, and then also like in the comments, sometimes you learn things too. And so for me, I'd be watching videos on, let's say, I'm trying to think of on a company, but I would make sure that I get at least 3 different opinions on it. Because some people do different kinds of research.
Right.
And so a lot of my research would be doing a lot of reading, looking things up, looking into the company, going to their website, going to their Twitter, seeing what they're about, how active they are. And again, like a lot of like YouTube content.
Right.
But then another thing that I started to do, which I didn't do as much initially, but as I kind of got better and a little more educated on it, was like looking into like SEC filings, like looking into the numbers, like how they balance their books. Because like something could look really good on the surface, but
Right.
it turns out they have like a crazy amount of debt,
Right.
And so and they might be like, if the stock does well, they might be like selling off or diluting, or there's a lot of things that need to be kind of understood under the hood. And the reason I said I wanted to evolve the way that I do this is that there's been a lot of companies where here's a good example. So I don't know if you're familiar with Asana. It's ASANA.
No.
And it's a company. It's basically a project management tool. So it's like
Okay.
You can use it through your browser. You can also download an actual application now. You can use it on your phone. It's also cool because it's all synced up. It's mainly for like actual businesses or teams, and it's a cool way. I actually discovered it because of a streamer where they use it to organize like brand deals and endorsements and sponsorships and things like that. And so instead of email, you use this like app that has like a nice UI and everything, and it's better, easier, more controlled. So that's how I discovered it, and then I decided to check it out. And it's like where I do my to-do list, or like if I'm like I said, like if I'm doing some research, I take all my notes and I put it on there. And it's cool because then if you want to collaborate with someone, you can just add them to the project and they can see everything, they can edit everything. But anyway, I love the right. And so they went public not too long ago, and I was like, that's probably a good investment. But I didn't see any of like my favorite like content creators, like investment people talking about it, and so I kind of like second guessed myself on it.
Right.
And I didn't really invest into it, and but like my gut was always telling me like that I should. Well, I should have, because it went from something in the 20s to I think it's like at $60 now. So I think I could have like at least doubled, possibly even like tripled my money on it.
Right.
And again, that was the thing where it's like I knew what I should be doing. I was seeking sort of validation from others, and that's why I was saying like I want to evolve how I do this, where it's like I don't want to rely on YouTube videos or people anymore. Not that I'm not going to like look at them or watch them, but I don't want to rely on that, because a lot of times like when it's getting talked about, it's not necessarily too late, but you're not in first, and I want to be in those situations where I'm in first, because like another one that I invest into is like Nano Dimension, and also like Bionanogenomics. And that was the thing where like when I learned what Nano Dimension does with their their printers, I was like, this is the future. Like this is such an amazing opportunity. And that was one of my first ones that like really did insane. Like
Oh,
it went from $1 to $16.
right.
And yeah, that was like one of the first things that like changed my life. And again, but again, it wasn't because I was seeing all these like YouTube videos about it that were like pumping it and talking about it. It
Right.
honestly wasn't getting that much attention. But I spent the time and did my own research and due diligence, and I was like, "There's like I know that this is good." And I could still be wrong about it. You know,
Right.
they still got a long ways to go. But you know, it's just like putting the power back in our own hands.
Right.
You know, like you could be the person that makes the YouTube video about the stock that does well, rather than waiting for someone else to tell you that it's a good investment. And so, yeah, that's where I want to spend more time going out there on my own and discovering these companies, you know, like basically the hard way
Right.
before it's on a YouTube video, before it's getting pumped up, before it's on, especially before it's on like CNBC, you know, which I love that channel, but you know, I never buy things that they talk about on there. I don't make my financial decisions based on anything that they say. I usually figure it's too late at that point. And so yeah, that's kind of a little bit of what I mean by research. It's like really looking into every aspect of a company. And like I
Right.
was saying, like if you can't tell someone who the CEO is, who's the CFO, like who actually works there and runs it, and sometimes it's you even want to know like their history, like just because you know the person's name, but you don't know anything about what they've done. You know, you don't know what skills they bring to the table. So those things are actually really important too.
Right.
So that's where I would rather, you know, personally have less stocks, but ones that I know in and out, than a whole ton that I don't know shit about, basically.
Gotcha. Well, a lot of times these CEOs and CFOs, it's very ancestral. They go from one company to another company.
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Exactly.
or they're on this company and then they're on the board of directors on another company. So it's very like it's really like a small club, you know. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, you and I are gonna go in, and no, we're never gonna go there. It's gonna be a very small club. It's very niche, and the truth is, yeah, you can research all you want, and you may find some stuff here, but the truth is, I mean, you can only find so much, though. To be honest, I guess what you're referring to, I guess these more small budding companies. Then I guess yes, there's more opportunity there, but at the same token, also more risk because they're not very known as well. So it's very risky
Yeah.
because you know.
Yeah, and yeah, and you bring up a good point where it's like you still can't just trust everything that you see and read, because like, you know, when you go to the website and then you look at the, you know, about us, so you know who works here,
Right.
they're going to make themselves sound as good as possible.
Of course.
Sure, you know,
Of course.
so that's still not quite what I would call like full on research.
Right.
So yeah, like so I would definitely wouldn't limit it to just knowing who they are.
Right.
But, yeah. And like you were saying, like no matter how much research you do, unless you work there or you're part of the team, there's only so much that you can really understand. And markets change. There's other companies. There's competition. Like it's still a risk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with you. I usually kind of stay away. I usually stay away from the small cap stocks anyways because it's more risky. And I guess, you know, being in the market so long, I just want things that are just kind of more chill and do gradual gains. But of course, if you want to make money, then I guess pink sheets and small caps are going to be your money makers. Medium cap, large cap, you're just cruising and you're preserving your wealth, really, or preserving your capital. But I always tell folks who are new to the market here, preserving capital is like your number one goal. And as a young budding trader here, you know, don't worry about the crazy gains. Worry about preserving your capital, because guess what? If you have no capital to preserve, you can't trade.
Yeah.
I guess you could paper trade, but that's kind of, to me, a waste of time. But
Yeah, I agree. I might as well just get into it.
there you go.
Because also like I was saying, like, you know, I've learned my biggest lessons from mistakes. And when you do paper trading, I mean, you're not going to feel the burn. You know what I mean? Like when your fake money goes away, like
Who cares?
I don't think it's not going to, exactly. So it's not going to hit home as hard. So I say just get right into it. Just make sure that you're not working with more than you're willing to lose.
Right. No, I totally agree with that too. And I think it's probably I think the first like 2 years or 3 years is kind of where you kind of go through the emotions really and the psychological game of it. I think after that you kind of get a little stronger and like, oh, you know, I'm used to this. This is normal, up and down, no big deal. Volatility, you get used to it. So I would say if you're you know, a new trader or anything, I would say just play with it, maybe $100, $200, and just, you know, play with it, you know. and get used to the ups and downs, or you're in the stock market, right? The gap ups or the gap downs. And you know, when they gap up or gap down, they always fill the gaps. So once you kind of learn these like basic rules, you kind of get used to it. Like, oh, no big whoop, you know. And
and really having like some capital on the side to buy these dips.
Right.
Because like I've got one right now that just lost like maybe like 20 or 30%. But I know for sure that it's going to recover and do well. But like if you keep putting everything in, I don't know. It's a hard thing to do sometimes because like you see so many opportunities, but then you see the market crash and you're like, oh man, if I waited till today, I could make money in one day. You know.
Well, for me, my strategy is that whenever how do you say it, whenever I want to buy a stock or cryptocurrency or something, you know, I set a budget, you know what I mean? So say like for Dogecoin, where I'm gonna set a budget, say for $100. I mean, obviously that's not a real budget, but just for example's sake here, $100, and I will set a limit every day. I will only buy 1% per day, you know. So that means I have 100 buys at 100 days. So that means for me, my strategy is to average over time in 100 days. But of course, I don't buy every day though. I only buy on red days. I almost never buy green. I only buy red. And the thing is, most folks, when they're new, they want to buy green and they want to sell green. And what that means is you're buying high and you want to sell higher. So at that point, you're playing hot potatoes, you know. And it's, you know, either you're gonna get burned or you're gonna burn your neighbor, right? But when you go ahead.
I was gonna say it is such a crazy thing. Like I have like a good friend who like is into crypto, and by that I mean like they literally just buy it, but it's funny like how some people still, like I was saying earlier, like they just don't do any actual research on things, and then also people have such a bizarre like strategy where like I'll show someone or like this person for example a good buying day, and they won't buy it because like when it dips or crashes.
Yeah.
And then as it's climbing, then they'll message me and be like, "Oh, should I buy it?" And I'm like, "No, you should have bought yesterday when I told you to." But they only want to buy something when they see it like pumping, and that's such a weird mentality to me. I definitely don't have that. Where like I love the red days. Like when I see everything is green, I'm just like I don't care. I don't even want it to be this way, you know. And then when I see it red, that's when I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. Like this is how you make your money. Like.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would say to that, yes and no. It really depends though, because I also, well, in cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter because cryptocurrency has no fundamentals. It's pretty much whatever happens, happens. It's a wild west.
Yeah.
It's a wild west. However, though, for stocks, I mean, when I say I buy red, but I do look at a long-term chart as well, right? And if they're in a long-term uptrend, yeah, I'll buy the red days. Now, if the company's a long-term downtrend and it is a red day, I'm still not interested because, you know, as they say here, right? Buying begets buying and selling begets selling.
And then, of course, I should say, like, of course, I want to see green at some point. But I guess I put it this way. It's like, I don't want to pay more for something. You know what I mean? And so I want to keep buying at a good price. And it seems like some other people are happy to pay more, you know, and that's where I get confused, where it's like they want to like, and I guess what I'm really trying to say is like, I'd rather something take like a year or a couple of years and to allow me the opportunity to actually put enough in there that I want it to double or triple, if that makes sense. Like if I put $100 into something and then it quadruples.
Right.
Then versus if I got the opportunity to put like $10,000,
right,
and then it quadruples. So
right,
yeah.
Well, it sounds like you sound like everyone else I know, very greedy. Wait for me first. Let me get in, and then you can go up.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the markets don't wait for us, and the market makers don't care about you and I because the market makers have the money, and if they want to push it up, they're gonna push it up. That's how it works. But the thing is also in terms of buying green and selling green, I mean, there is some validation to it as well because sometimes there are technicals, right, where you have a golden cross here, or you're seeing a long-term resistance here, and when you see it kind of crush the resistance, that's kind of where you want to set your buys into also. So I mean, I know you're kind of always, I only buy red days all the time, only here, but there's also a case to buy the resistance, and when it actually breaks a long-term resistance, that is time to go FOMO in as well, because that's when everyone's, well, not everyone, but anyone who's technical or anyone who watches the charts, they're gonna jump in as well, and then they're gonna let all these little chart groups right here, right? You know, little like Discord channels, whatever's. They're all gonna FOMO in, and it's gonna push up as well. So I mean, there is a case for it as well. I mean, but for me, my main strategy is pretty much just buying, you know, the dips on a long-term uptrend, you know, chart. Because
and I was gonna say like, and you're right. Like, it's not like I only buy on like a red day, because like sometimes, for example, you just want to own a piece of that company. Like, I have a couple where like I don't care what the price is, because I know where it's going down the road. So I try to pick it up on a red day, but I just know that it's going to double or triple at some point, you know. And so like I'll buy it even, you know, at a premium, because I know in the 6 months to a year or 2 years or 5 years, that won't be a premium. That'll be just a steal. You know?
Right. Well, I guess with that mentality, then you should be able. Then I guess you should be able to understand your friends as well here, right? When they go, hey, Aaron, should I buy today when it's going up? Then there you go. You are just like them in that regard in terms of that situation there, right? But
the one thing I would say is different is that I'm actually looking into the companies, and they're not doing that at all. They just want the ticker symbol, you know?
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, there you go. Well, you know, I always say also timing the market is way better than timing the market, you know? Because trying to get the best lowest price or selling at the highest top price, I mean, when you do that, you're usually lucky. I wouldn't say skill. I would say it's more luck.
Exactly.
But you know,
you bring up a great point. Like instead of waiting and hoping for those opportunities, just let them present themselves. You know.
Right. And usually, I guess for me, I'm more of a technical trader by heart. But I also do the I guess the fundamental research about the company, all that kind of jazz. So I like it. I just look for, you know, I guess long-term supports, and I kind of I guess start going in there slowly but surely. But I mean, a lot of different strategies, I guess. You know, how you want to do it. Some folks are more, you know, like all in real quick. Some folks are scalpers, you know. But it just depends, I guess, on what you want to do.
Another one that I don't necessarily recommend, but I do it sometimes, is like, look, like if you can spot hype before it happens, like you know that something, because like hype can, you know, it can do crazy things to a stock price. And it can also, like, you know, obviously be kind of bad, like when something gets hyped up and then, you know, it gets dumped and the people bought the hype at the wrong, basically at the top.
Dogecoin.
You can see, exactly. But if you can see the thing that is like, oh, I see it early, and I could tell that this has potential to kind of go viral, or people really get excited about it, you can make a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. But to me, that sounds more like gambling and day trading. So I mean, like, again, I don't really encourage that kind of stuff, so I don't really do it anymore. So for me, I'm looking for more like long-term growth, really. You know, for me, Dogecoin, you can day trade and make lots of money as well. But I'm just trying, you know, I see this thing going to $10 or even $1 trillion one day, you know, for Dogecoin. So to me, anything you buy today is a deal, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things here. Let's see here. So Aaron, where do you think Dogecoin is going? I mean, in the near term, in your opinion, where do you feel like, or what do you think, you know, whatever, you know, where it's going in your opinion?
So you know, I do believe personally, and of course we can always be wrong.
That's fine.
But I do think it's going to hit $1. I think that's very I think it's quite. I'm optimistic that it's going to hit a $1 trillion market cap, and it's just because it's just so much easier to use. Like, for example, like versus like a Bitcoin, which is this very expensive, bulky, you know, store of value. You know, it has its use, but it's not the same thing as, you know, going and using it and to like, why would you spend your Bitcoin to buy, you know, a coffee? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Whereas, you know, with Doge you can, and just the fact that it is a crypto, it's fun, that it has a good message, and I really think more kind of needs to be done. Not that it needs to be like a cult, but I think as that kind of gets out, like, I mean, we see what's happening in like Twitter with the spaces, it's the mentality, and the people are changing each other's lives, like inspiring each other, you know, helping each other.
Right.
Like, it's such a weird thing how like Dogecoin has led to some of these like mental health spaces, and people are you know, like finding friends and therapy, you know, in ways that like I don't think anyone was even expecting. And so like to me, that's like where the real value is. And I don't know. It's almost like making better people, if that makes sense. You know, it's
Oh,
almost like a new church or something where
uh-oh.
but it's a church of people that
Scientology.
are yeah, yeah. But it's a church of people that are like into technology and into community and into charity and things. And so that's where I think the real beauty is. And I think that as that sort of expands, along with like its like use case, that's when we'll see it start to like really pop off.
Right.
And so I think honestly, like I don't know exactly what's going on with like the crypto markets and just like honestly, like all the markets aren't doing that great. So I really think that that Doge is actually at a much higher price than what we're seeing right now. And I don't know, it's almost like a phantom price in my opinion right now. I think that it's honestly worth at least double what it is right now. Just the markets are kind of like stifling that or suffocating it. So I do expect a good bounce back soon. I expect it to be well back in the 20s. And hope, I mean, I would say probably back to like 50 cents by the end of the year is what I'm hoping for and thinking of.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
Um, yeah, yeah.
I had a question, Aaron.
Yeah.
Before you mentioned the whole like using Dogecoin for transactions and yada yada yada, do you actually do it yourself?
So because the majority of mine is in Robinhood, not
Yeah.
that much, but I do have a that Flexa and so that spend that weirdly spelled spend app,
Right.
and so yeah I basically I will be here because I haven't. I'll be completely transparent. I haven't actually purchased anything with it.
Yeah.
Mainly just because like right now it's not at a great price, so
Yeah.
I'm being greedy with it. But once it gets a little bit back more normalized, I
Sure.
will. I also just don't even go out very much to be honest. Like I get
Sure.
everything like delivered to me through Amazon. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, like if I were to be going out more, I'd be looking for opportunities. Like I'd love to go to the store
Right.
and spend it. I just honestly like I get everything from Amazon. So
Right.
I put it this way, like if Amazon was accepting Doge, I would be actually using it all the time.
Really? That's interesting. Because
Yeah.
always hear folks saying, "Oh yeah, you should use Dogecoin for transactions." But in my opinion, why would you do that if you know Dogecoin is going to $1? To me, that makes no sense. You know. And
Yeah, like
I personally don't use my Dogecoin. I just buy and then dump into a bag and I forget about it. So for me,
yeah,
I see more Dogecoin like, kind of like gold or silver. I just buy some, I stack it, and I don't really plan on using it because this is my emergency diversified money in my opinion here. I don't really see it as something I want to use daily, but I do understand
yeah.
the use case, and everyone kind of pushes that. But in reality though, most folks probably think like you or think like and you probably don't use it. You know what I mean? I mean there's a handful that use it, but the majority don't though. So I mean when I hear people
Yeah.
saying that, to me it's like
Yeah, like basically like this is kind of the way I look at it. It's like I've got
right,
like my main pool that I'm sitting on that I know
right,
I'm going to be touching,
yeah,
and then I think with the spending, it's more just like knowing that you could buy something for the certain amount,
yeah,
and then the amount that you gave them could be worth double or triple or quadruple because
right,
it's almost like in a way some sort of like a charity type thing where it's like
right,
you want to find like a retailer or something that like let's say like a little mom and pop restaurant
sure,
that is accepting Doge and you're like yeah I know that I could hold on to this and wait for it to grow but I'm going to give this to you because I believe that it is going to grow and then eventually like maybe they're unfamiliar with cryptocurrency, but then imagine being on the receiving end where like let's say they've made a couple $1,000s in Dogecoin from people using it at their let's say their establishment,
yeah,
but then a year later now it's like quadrupled and they're like oh I'm
yeah,
so glad I did this. Doge is awesome, crypto's awesome, and heck maybe they remember you for coming in and doing that. Like I
right,
think of those stories of people that like way back in the day like someone gifted them some Bitcoin
yeah,
and then they just kind of forgot about it over the years and then they're like oh
right,
let me check that out and then like now they're like rich because of it
right,
because someone gave it to them so I think that
right,
gives like a really good impression or it's a really nice look for it
right,
and so yeah I would definitely say like yeah I'll probably just be holding on to a certain bit amount
yeah,
for a while as it climbs hopefully
right,
but I will have like a small pool that is kind of just like my fun money that I'm like yeah I know
right,
I could hold on to this but I want it to grow for someone else.
right. That's interesting, but I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, I guess that's interesting to hear. But for me, when I hear cryptocurrency like Dogecoin or Bitcoin, it always feels like everyone kind of gives it this romantic notion, you know, where it's kind of like the noble money. It's gonna take you out of poverty. It's gonna solve your problems, you know. It's gonna make you like it's gonna give you generational wealth. And the truth is, it's not for the majority of people here. I mean, because everyone here, right? No one has not no one, but the majority of folks here don't have like 100K coins or million coins here, right? It's only a handful of people that have that. And people watch these YouTubers or whatever, you know, where they find these people with these million Dogecoin or whatever, right? To me, it feels very romanticized, and I want to be part of that movement. But in reality, though, when it goes up to $1, I may have 5K only. I won't actually have the $1 million like that person I'm seeing on YouTube, or you know what I mean? And then they're like buying this new beautiful house after cashing in a Dogecoin. For me, when I cash it in, I may be able to buy a used car. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I feel like it's just too romanticized, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, you know, to me, it feels like another fiat currency, really, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not knocking Dogecoin. I really like it, you know. I'm not saying it's better or anything. But when people talk about, oh yeah, you should use it as currency, it's gonna change your life, blah blah, it just feels too romanticized. In reality, I don't think it's gonna happen in reality. I mean, for the folks who are buying it, they already have some money and they yellowed into it. Yeah, they will get rewarded for it here, right? But the question is when and how long. And if they sell it, will you even know? Will you even know?
You actually bring up like a really important point that like is something that I try to bring up when I have these like these spaces with these like political candidates where you know, I'll put it this way, like the rich people, the people that already have money, they're in the #1 position to make the big money off of crypto.
Yeah.
And so I don't really see how crypto is supposed to suddenly make poor people now rich or solve any sort of like difference in the wage gap, because they're already like, I mean, for every $100 or $1,000 that someone like you and I are able to put in, someone else is able to put in billion dollars into these things. You know, hundreds of millions of dollars. And so, and at the same time, like the people that have the money, they're at the #1 position to be able to do the research, to have to be educated on it, to know people in it. So there's still a lot of like, so like, I'll put it this way. Like if all of a sudden, like let's say the lower class makes a shitload of money through crypto, well, you better believe that the people at the top and in the middle have made even more money. And so I don't think it really solves anything in that regard. So it is cool when someone is able to, you know, get lucky on a project and make some you know, basically life-changing money for themselves. But as for it, like you were saying, like changing the world in that way, I highly doubt that.
Yeah, and the thing is that I guess no one talks about it because it's not very popular, you know, to say these kind of things. But the truth,
they don't want to hear that.
But you know, everyone wants to hear, I'm going to the moon, I'm gonna buy a new Lambo, blah blah. That's, you know, I'm like, bro, let's be real here. You're probably not gonna buy a Lambo. You make it a Honda or something from a Chevy. Not to be mean or anything, but you know, it's what it is, you know. But you know, everyone's like, here to the moon. I'm getting a Lambo, blah blah. I'm getting a new like house. I'm living in the Hamptons, and you're not, because you know, I guess I'm being too real here. But the truth is, we need poor people. Because if you know who's gonna work fast food? The poor person right here, right? And there's no poor people. Who's gonna work there? Nobody. It's like
and the thing is, like, if everyone's getting so rich off cryptocurrency, that Lambo is gonna get even more expensive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
still out of reach.
And so and also honestly, like I think even like that mentality that some cryptocurrency is going to get them. I'm like, in my opinion, you still need to get yourself there. You still have to do shit in the real world.
Exactly. And the thing is, you know, sometimes I see, you know, well, back in a few months ago, I was doing a lot more streaming here, right? I'm seeing little kids come in. Well, not little kids, but I guess people coming in, you know, they're saying, yeah, man, I put 5K into this thing. Let's make it like $5 million. I'm like, what in the actual fuck are you talking about? Like, you think it's gonna go 1 million X for you? Come on, look, you know, I mean, like people just get delusional, right? They think, oh yeah, it's 40% today, 50% tomorrow. It's like, you know what? It's gonna go forever. It's just like, oh my god. It just reminds me of the housing market really right now. Where to go buying houses right now, it's like you have to be out of your mind to buy a house right now. To be honest, I mean the price is like ridiculous. You know, it's like. Oh yeah, we lower the interest rate so you get a better rate. No, what they do is that what they do is that when they lower the interest rate, they raise the price of the actual house itself. So when you go into the mortgage calculator, your monthly payment is the same thing still.
Yep.
It just like kind of like smoke and mirrors, you know. It just kind of cracks me up, and I don't know. It just blows my mind how many folks, you know, how you say it before, Aaron, how folks need to get educated. I think folks need to get educated on basic math.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
basic as fuck. But I'm not saying calculus. I'm saying just basic multiplication and basic division and percentages right here, right? Because people can't even do that for themselves. When I see it, I'm like, what? Think it's a
Yeah,
good deal. I'm like, no, it's not. It's the same thing.
like it's crazy to have like the people will have an investment in some coin or token and have no idea how many coins or tokens exist. Like,
That's just baffling, right? Or what's a market cap? I'm like, bro, you know what a market cap is? Well, you know what?
yeah,
I'll tell it to you, but it's kind of concerning to me how you put like 10K in here, but you don't know what that even means. It's like,
yeah, and like to literally think that like, oh, I have 11 trillion, which is worth $10 right now, and I
exactly.
think that I'm going to be worth $11 trillion in this thing.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, folks, I'm not trying to talk shit or anything. I'm just saying I've seen it here before. So it's comedians a little like, well, really? Okay. So that's kind of why I'm bringing it really, and not so much talk shit or poke fun at people. You know what I mean? But the truth is,
Yeah,
folks need to learn basic math. You know, I mean, before you learn cryptocurrency, learn some basic math first, because in cryptocurrency you can see 0.00000000000 whatever number it is. You know,
exactly.
they're like probably like 15 zeros. I'm like, what the? Even I get confused by that. You know, because so many zeros.
There's 16 zeros, and then they're like, oh, I can't wait till it hits $1, and it's like, man.
Do you know how many zeros that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, of course, we want everyone to get rich and have their lives change, but I mean, there has to be, I don't know, some sort of, I don't know, you got to bring it back to reality at least a little bit. And also, like, another thing that I think is kind of dangerous is like a lot of people are, I think, are avoiding some of their like responsibilities, or avoiding working or going to school, or just doing or improving skills. They're spending so much time just like looking at all these altcoins, or like weird gambling opportunities.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's like,
gambling.
no, like the world needs workers. The world needs people to innovate and to invent and to create. You know, that's where you're gonna find like the real value.
Well, the truth is, money makes money here, you know. So if you come,
Yeah, yeah,
so if you come from a lower SES background, such as me, right here, right? What you need to do is get educated and find a digital skill, because we live in a digital age. And by digital skill, I mean something like databases or software programming, or some kind of or something to do with information management, or technology really here, because that's where the money's at, folks. If you're going to go to college and get like an arts degree or a history degree, I say have fun with your debt, because you're never paying it off.
yeah, yeah.
You're gonna come out, you probably work at Starbucks, and you be on news, you're gonna be a victim. Oh my god, I went to college, I got a master's in social science, and I can't even get a gig. I work at Starbucks now. Well, there you go. You got a degree that nobody wants and a skill that nobody needs. I mean, so it's kind of one of those things. You got to put yourself in a position to succeed here, right? Learn a skill that people actually want, not something not something you want to do. Okay. I know everyone says do something. I know everyone says forget everything and do what you're passionate about. But the truth is, whatever you're passionate about, it probably won't, it probably doesn't make you money. And if
Yeah,
you want to,
yeah.
and the thing is that, what does freedom really mean? Freedom means you have money, because money allows you to do things you want to do, and to me, that's freedom. Without that money, you have no freedom, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
like
me talking, but everyone thinks differently, But and the thing is, if you want to invest into like cryptos or stocks or whatever it is, well, guess what? You need capital, and in order to get capital, you need to find a skill that pays you a lot of money. Unless you're born with a silver spoon, or you have some kind of lucky lottery winning here. But for most folks, that's not the case. So if I were you guys, if you're young here, right, in college still, go to a degree that does something with data, okay, data science or something like that, and I guarantee you come out, you probably make at least 60, 70K in a few years, 100K easily. And then you can start investing in your cryptos. You can go back to, doing your stocks, all that kind of jazz, you know what I mean? But till then, don't even worry about this stuff here. If you have no money, forget all this crap here and go get a job and learn a new skill first, and then come back afterwards. It'll still be here, I guarantee you. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name them, but like there's a friend on Twitter Spaces where You know, they live in this area, they're unemployed, they have this thing that they want to do, like a project basically, but it would take a lot of money for them to do that. And so basically they're not doing it, or basically they're not doing anything. And so like you know, just like for like you were saying, like for people out there, like you got to think about like what do people pay for? What are the services that people want and need? Like, and like you're like, yeah, you know, it's cool if it's like what you love and it's what you're passionate about. But just because you love it doesn't mean that someone's gonna necessarily pay you or pay you enough that it's gonna, you know, get you to the Lambo or to the yacht. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it's really important to think of like what do people actually need? What is going to be desired? You know, in the next few years here that you could possibly do. You know, like and yeah, so yeah, you brought up a really great point. Like, you know, that's cool if you love history. You're not going to make any money.
I'm just saying, for example, I'm not trying to knock the history people or anything. I'm just saying, you know. You know, it's kind of funny. I know that on Twitter Spaces, people would say, you know what, I'm gonna say this, but I can't say any names. I'm like, why not? Oh my god! In real life, when my friends do that, I just punch them. I'm like, bro, don't even bring that shit up to me. You know, to me, it's like the most annoying thing. Oh, I heard about this person here, but I can't tell you though. I was like, what?
Yeah, I just don't want to pick on them. If I didn't like them, I would totally call them out. But
no, it's fine, it's fine. No, I'm just saying, for me, it's one of my pet peeves. Like, oh my god, really?
And usually I do. Usually I have no problem like saying people out.
Right. No, that's cool, man. It's all good. I understand.
In fact, if I'm being honest, I enjoy it. I enjoy calling people out and just being like, all right, what's going to happen next? What are the repercussions here?
I just don't care.
Yeah.
I wish I cared enough. If I did, I'll probably get more subscribers, but I don't care though. I do it for me because I enjoy it, so whatever. It obviously isn't my full-time job, so it doesn't pay my bills. It's just for fun for me, so.
I was gonna ask you, how did you get into YouTube? What made you even want to start doing it?
Well, the truth is, like I said, I started getting Dogecoin a few months back. I guess probably in January or whatever. You know, basically beginning of this year here, right? And I was spending more time on Reddit/r Dogecoin right here, right? And I was seeing so much misinformation in terms of technical analysis, you know. I was like, what the and then I said, you know what, let me go on YouTube here and see what kind of garbage I can find here. And I put in Dogecoin charts and I couldn't find anything. I said, fuck it, let me go do it then, right? And you know, and hopefully I can educate people in the Doge community by doing only good every day. This is my skill, and this is how I contribute back to the Doge by giving back in this regard here. So I started doing it, and then all of a sudden it just started, you know, running for me and started working out for me. I mean, people started subbing and everything. At first when I did it, I'm like, you know, I'm just doing it for fun and hopefully educate maybe 1 or 2 people here. But it just started snowballing, and I never expected it. And then all of a sudden, I see everyone and their mom doing this. I see everyone and their mom doing it now too. I'm like, okay, I guess I was doing something right because everyone's doing it now. At first, no one was doing it, you know. People were covering news like, oh, Dogecoin news. Yeah, everyone's doing that here, right? But no one's doing a chart, so I was the first one to do it. And then everyone starts doing it, you know what I mean? And I will see bigger people start to switch over to the Dogecoin charts all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, why is everyone doing this all of a sudden, you know? I don't think, you know, it's that interesting, but I guess, you know, at the time, I wasn't even monetized yet, so I didn't even know you get paid on YouTube, to be honest. I always heard about it, but I didn't know, you know, because, you know, if you weren't, you know what I'm saying? It's different to hear.
Totally.
It's different to hear someone else say it, but you know, when they say things here, they're leaving a shitload of stuff out here. They aren't telling you everything, right? So once you get monetized, you can see more statistics. You can kind of see the trends and everything. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So it's kind of different, that kind of regard there. So I mean, for me, that's kind of how we started out, just from humble beginnings, and just because, really, not because I would think, oh my god, I want to be a superstar, you know, make $1 million or anything. It just really just like, oh my god, the Reddit group was so bad. I was like, oh my god, it is terrible. And people actually listening to it too. I mean, the other folks, you know. And to me, that was the concerning part.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
it's fun.
Go ahead.
It's funny because like basically like I was off the grid completely. Like I wasn't really like active on any kind of like social media, Facebook, like nothing like that. And then it was when, like I was saying before, like, you know, people started asking me questions because I finally felt like, okay, like, you know, this is going well. It was basically, I just wanted other people to have this opportunity too, to be able to make money.
Yeah, agreed.
So many people don't know anything about it.
Agreed.
So like, you know what, like, if I can do this, anyone can do it. And so that's what got me thinking about it. But what made me really feel like I had to start to do something was actually came from like actually a mental health uh, uh, angle where I saw all these people talking about how you can make money, but obviously, as you know, like you can also lose so much money, and people are getting burned just as often as people are doing well.
Yep.
And there was one thing that I saw that was like missing from the conversation, and that was mental health type stuff. You
Yeah.
know, and also like people learning from like the mistakes and like admitting to mistakes in the first place.
Yep.
The do's and don'ts. And so yeah, the whole reason I really wanted to get on here was because like I don't have your style of background where like I'm not a financial expert. If anyone's going to talk about stocks or whatever, they should honestly be talking to you rather than me. I can only speak to like the companies that I've like looked into and researched, right? But when it comes to like how the markets really work, I'm not an expert on that. I just believe that if you find a good company, there's a pretty decent chance that you might be able to make some money if you're whatever.
Right.
But what's been cool is that like thanks to like I was saying earlier when it comes to like Twitter and Twitter Spaces, just the timing of it because I care so much about people and I don't even know how to say it, but like I want everyone to be doing well. I don't know if it's because like I used to be a teacher or whatever, but I just really like to help. And
Right.
Twitter Spaces has like completely because like I don't know if it's fair to say it's easier. Because how long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
Maybe like in March.
Or months
Maybe March.
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 Oh, wow. So that's
March
that's quite a snowball, huh?
Maybe March or April or February. I don't know. Maybe one. I don't know. Maybe February, March, or April. I don't know. One of those months.
That is crazy.
It wasn't. I haven't been doing it for very long. It's very like very short, and I'm still learning to be honest. I mean like yeah, like the whole audio visual thing. For me, it's like the whole audio thing, the whole video thing here. Recording stuff. I come from like a more of a database side, kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm always been into technology right here, right? But for video and audio, for me, it's a whole new world. Like you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, gain, what the fuck is gain? ISO, what the fuck is ISO? So I literally spent like for the past 3 months, literally like educating myself. What is ISO? What's aperture? What is gain? All this kind of crap, no one cares about, but I gotta care about it because I got produce better content for people because now that I'm getting more viewers here and more subscribers, you know what? I owe it to them to not waste their time by putting out garbage, right? So I'm doing my part here by educating myself, by making better, videos, better content, better editing, getting better software and figure out how to do it here. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, people getting the stock market here, right? They're gonna do I guess their due diligence, I guess, and become an expert or a SME, which means subject matter expert in their new field they want to get into, right? Because nobody's gonna listen to someone who's like look a bum here, so it's like you gotta like present yourself accordingly. As you know, as a teacher here, right? If you don't sound professional in front of your students here, or you don't sound like or if you sound like or if you don't sound like you know what the fuck you're talking about, no one's gonna listen to you either right here, right? All your students are like, oh, this guy's a fucking poser. Whatever, you know what I mean? So
it's funny that you brought up the ISO because I remember like when I bought my camera, I got it and I realized like I don't know how this works. I click the button. Yeah. But I was like, oh, I actually don't know what any of these things.
Exactly. So, exactly. No, like I'm used to point and shoot cameras here, right? But DSLR is a whole new world, right? It's like all these like fucking like 20 different menus here. Like holy crap, the white balance, all this kind of stuff. Like oh my god, there's color temperature. I'm like color temperature. What the hell does that mean? I mean I know all now, but I'm just saying at the time I was so overwhelmed, to be honest. And then at the time, my channel was kind of blowing up. I was getting more viewers and all that kind of stuff. Like, holy shit, I really gotta step it up here. And I'm working at 40 or 50 hours at my full-time job here, right? I'm kind of streaming here, kind of doing something on the side here. So I literally wasn't sleeping much. I was probably putting maybe like 90 or 100 hours a week doing all this crap here and learning and doing the side. So, I mean, now it's kind of done. And I'll be honest, I kind of burnt myself out by being stupid like that, because I guess I got too excited, like, oh my god, this is really fun here, so let's keep on doing it here, right? And forcing everything into a very short amount of time. So I kind of burnt myself out. So now I kind of learned, you know what? It's my channel. Let me do it the way I want to do it. But initially, I had a mentality where I had to serve everyone right now, and and when I was streaming more often back then, right, the chat was kind of, yeah, you gotta do this, John, you gotta do that, John. So I'll kind of get off and do research on that, you know what I mean, or whatever stock or crypto they want to do, you know what I mean. So I was like, you know what, dude, I'm gonna do me and take a step back, because the thing is, you get burnt out. It's like It actually happens. And by no means am I complaining either, by the way, or talking smack or anything. I'm just saying it actually happens. And you know, and as a very new YouTuber myself here, I experienced it very quickly. So I mean, I had no idea what in the actual fuck is going on. If you don't believe me, watch my earlier videos. It's absolute garbage. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, also in doing like content like this, you kind of learn a lot about yourself too. I don't know if you went through that, where you're like, how do I talk? How do I look at the camera? Like, you know, like what kind of thumbnail do I make? How does it represent me? You know? Like, there's some, obviously there's like infinite different ways you can do content, and then you have to decide which way is it. And and like I've made some videos where like, I put a lot of work into it, but like, for example, like I really learned that I do not like reading from a script. I like to just do it improvised.
Right.
I remember, like, also first I was like, oh, I want to make videos where there's no cuts at all, there's no edits whatsoever.
Oh no.
But then I realized, like, you know what, it's fine.
No.
It was almost like an ego thing. I was like, I wondered if I couldn't do it all in one take. Then I was like ashamed of myself or something, or I wasn't doing it good enough. And then I realized, like, no, it's okay. And then it's okay to edit, it's okay to cut it up. It actually makes it easier. But it was fun to try to do, like, you know, a 20-minute video about like
And the funny thing is that most folks don't understand that, I can make a quick like 9-minute or 10-minute YouTube video here, right? But the thing is, I probably spend a good like 9 or 10 hours actually making that 10-minute like footage, you know what I'm saying? And when you watch it, like, and you're watching like, what the fuck is garbage though? I'm like, bro, it's not as easy as it looks. I mean, it looks easy. Oh yeah, you're just talking in front of a camera. Like, no, bro, there's a lot more shit goes behind. You know what I mean? You're recording. You know, you're angling it, and you got buy different lenses. You got, you know, it's a lot of stuff, dude. I mean, if you have a crew, it's freaking easy, you know. But all by yourself, it's a lot of work, and YouTube does not pay you enough for the amount of hours you put into it. I guarantee you. So if you're doing YouTube videos, I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, but all I'm saying is that if you're doing YouTube, right, and even if you're monetized, you're literally doing it because you're passionate about it. Because I'll be honest with you guys, YouTube does not pay you enough for the amount of time you put into your videos, because there's a portion where you spend research to find content, and then there's a recording of the content, right? The recording portion is getting a camera out, some different angles, the lighting, all that kind of stuff. It all takes time and effort, guys. And then after that, you gotta edit it, and then the thumbnail, and you gotta upload it, you gotta do all, you know, the description, all this kind of crap. It takes a lot of time and effort. So I'm just saying, you know, some folks are like, oh yeah, John's rich, you know. I'm like, bro, if I was rich, I wouldn't be doing YouTube. I'll be sitting in an island, somewhere in an island, just chilling out and doing jack shit, okay? So.
And then let's not forget the self-hate that you experience.
Oh my God.
Back and you're like,
oh my God. What kills me is that when someone bashes me for no fucking reason, they're just like, John sucks. Oh great, thanks, man. If you can put John sucks, this is why, I can live with that shit for sure, right? At least you're being, I could call that constructive criticism here, right? But this fool sucks. Why? It just sucks.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? You know, I mean, dude, I mean, like, oh my God, I was getting so much shit in the beginning. It was freaking hilarious. But you kind of learn to just like, who gives a shit, right? You can say what you want to say. I'm still gonna do what I want to do. I don't care, you know.
and sometimes it's funny. Like sometimes people, I think they leave like a rude comment.
Oh yeah.
They don't realize that you're gonna crack up at it. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, it's still a learning curve. But I learned, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do what I do because I like to do it. If you want to watch it, it's for you. If you don't watch it, go somewhere else. You know, I'm not trying to convince you to sub to my channel or watch it. You don't like it, go watch someone else. There are plenty of people who will say to the moon to you every single second and take your money. So it's fine, go there. You know what I mean? That's something I personally learned in this journey of YouTuber here. And I've learned that as a person, I like to please people, apparently. I never knew that.
Yeah.
But it's something I learned. And then once I realized that, I thought, oh, fuck that, dude. I gotta make sure I do me and take care of me too, because if not, I will burn out again, you know? And it's not worth it to get burnt out on this kind of stuff, you know, so.
you made me think of something that's really interesting, and I'm curious, like how, because like I said, like my channel is so tiny. Also, like I don't do, like, my content is not the kind of content that would ever go like viral. Like I have zero shot at like having any kind of like YouTube success. Like I don't know if I'll ever make that kind of content. Like I know what that kind of content is. I know I can do my thumbnails different and like whatever. But I just want to stay like really like true to myself, right? But like the experience that I wanted to talk about is like, and maybe you could talk about like when you first started getting like comments and like feedback, but like when, even if it's just like some random person I don't know, but they said that like, oh, I found this video to be helpful or useful or like whatever.
Yeah.
This doesn't give you like a cool feeling and also like a sense of like responsibility where you're like, oh, I want to do more because
it gives me a boner.
Like, yeah.
It gets me. What I'm trying to say is that it gets me excited. It motivates me to want to do it some more. That's how I'm trying to say. Not just like a pervert or anything, but
it's okay even if you're a pervert. It's like, but yeah, it's such a cool feeling because remember, like I would make a video and then some person that I've never heard of before happened to just stumble upon it and say something nice. And of course, like I don't care if someone says something mean either. But but then I'm like, oh, maybe I do want to keep doing this thing.
No, I agree, and what I've realized in this short journey here is that I'm really doing it for those folks. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't call them fans really, because I don't want to put myself on a pedestal where I have fans. But I would say these are folks who come to me to get the real education or the real news or the real deal. Because I always tell folks in my channel here, I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you don't like it, I don't care. It is what it is. If I see a guy on the street and he's laid out, I'm gonna say this guy's on the street laid out. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say it nicely. I'm gonna say what it is. You know what I mean? I don't care.
I wish there was like a better word than fan, because what it comes down to is like people who just appreciate your work. And that is a fan, but like still, like I know what you mean. Like the fan is because even like on like Twitter Spaces, like I have people that are fans of me from I don't know what I do. I literally do not know what I do. But I have people that have come up, there's DMs or in Spaces, be like, dude, like I'm a fan of yours. I like what you do. I still to this day I don't know what I do. I just say things.
I know. And apparently you like it, which is great. But I don't know. I feel like the word fan is too pretentious. To me, it feels that way, It's like saying, "Oh, or I'm a YouTube star or something." That's too much for me. I don't like that word. It just, I don't know. For me, I would like to think I'm a humble person. For me to hear that kind of stuff about myself, that's like, it's too much, bro. Okay, I get it. Let's dial it back, though.
It probably has something to do with the fact that we, come from like humble beginnings. It's like we know what we are. We know we're shit. And so no matter what happens, like we're always going to be shit.
Right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm shit, but okay. I get your point, though. I don't want to come across as I have low self-esteem or anything, but all I'm saying is that I get what you're saying, but the thing is that when you come from a humble beginning, aka poor as fuck, what's real and what's not real here, right? So for me, when I see social media and some guys like, oh yeah, I'm on an island here with my girl on Hawaii. Look, she's super awesome looking. I'm living a good life. Check out my rollie, I'm like, oh, that's cool, bro. I don't care though. A bunch of flashy people. It's like, it's not for me. But I do get your saying though, for sure. I mean, hey, one day you could be famous. Who knows, right? One day I could blow up too. Who knows? But you know what? It is what it is. I'll see what happens. I will roll with the punches and see what goes down. But again, it all started off with just because I saw on Reddit and I saw. Well, I want to say I saw a need for it, but I saw a missing gap of it, and I want to be that person to fill that gap. And then it became like what it is, So I mean, I'm not sure what kind of content you create, but what kind of content do you create, by the way,
Honestly,
on YouTube or whatever?
It's pretty random. Like some of them are like some of them are like I'll look into a company. Like a recent one I did is the company MP Materials.
Sure.
I'm a fan of theirs, and again, like I had people ask me like because it kind of came down to like people asking me like what stock should I buy, which I never tell people like which ones to buy. I don't like to do that at all. But what I do, I am okay with doing is like, okay, I'm not telling you to buy this stock, but here's some research that I've done on it.
Right.
And so basically I would spend, like you were saying, like quite a bit of time, like looking into it, trying to figure out how I'm going to say it, how I'm going to present it.
Yeah.
Just so that people can be like, what, if this is cool, I can look into it. Because even if I talk about a company, I will say, I'm not telling you to buy this at all.
Right.
I'm just saying this is what excites me about it.
Yeah.
And this is why I like it. And that's pretty much it. But like, I've, I'm trying to think of what else some of my videos are. Some of it is just like some like stupid tips. Like I remember like I was staying at a hotel,
Yeah.
and because I was getting everything like delivered to me, and they had a restaurant and bar downstairs. I wasn't checking on my car, and my car ended up getting towed. A little video about how like even if you're like everything is okay, make sure that if you're staying at a hotel, go check on your car, make sure that there isn't like a little slip on there, because
Wow.
they gave me a warning,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I just didn't go check it, and then it got towed, and that was like $600 I had to spend to get my car back.
That
And
sucks,
so
dude. Yeah.
and also like I'm a musician, so
Right.
I've made a couple weird videos on, and honestly like kind of like how I learn or like
Right.
how I practice or whatever, but it's honestly just like weird stuff. Yeah, so
I
that's what I was saying, like it's
yeah.
never going to be anything that like goes viral or gets like
Right.
a million views, because it's just like it's not that kind of stuff.
Oh, I
But
see.
it's just stuff that I think if it could help or inspire like 1 or 5 people, I've done my job. That to me is worth 1,000 or a million views. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and so yeah, and I'm gonna keep doing random things like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just really weird, random stuff. Yeah, there's no pattern to it whatsoever.
Oh, I
I
see.
do want to do more like music content because like my background is in production and stuff. So
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I don't know, like like I have a 3D printer. I might make some videos about like what I'm printing or some of my designs.
Right.
But yeah, it's just going to continue to be random stuff, but just stuff that's like very me, personal.
Right.
And hopefully helps people in some way, or
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think. Quick question: what kind of musician are you? Are you like a rocker, rapper? Like what are you, pop?
So honestly, like every genre, every like style, I could probably like send you like a track that might be like a good example. Like, but like because like I said, I play every instrument, so I play every genre. So
Oh.
I could be playing like metal, I could be playing like jazz, I could be playing classical music,
Right.
and a lot of the music that I write kind of mixes everything all in. So like
Oh.
it'll be like I have one track that's like a very like classical, I don't know, like almost like alternative. I don't even know how to explain it, because it's like very classical piano, with some drums going on and stuff, and then it goes into like like a EDM song basically. Like, and so it yeah, I
Okay.
love music where the genres are just like going all over the place.
Yeah.
So like I've got another one where it's like a very funk type of jam going on,
Yeah.
but with like neoclassical shred guitar going all over it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm not gonna ask you what you do anymore. I need to be asked. I need to be easier to ask you, what do you not do?
Yeah,
you do everything apparently. What do you not do, bro?
That is one of my that is one of my sort of problems, but I don't think it's a problem. But
no, it's not a problem. No. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I'm honestly just so fascinated with everything in the world. Like everything to me is so cool and interesting.
Yeah.
It does leave me a little bit sometimes unfocused, because I could be doing one thing. I might even say, "Oh, this is what I'm going to be doing today or tomorrow, this week,"
Yeah.
and then I'm doing something completely different.
Yeah.
But like that's what I was saying earlier. Like I just try to, like, if I'm learning something, I look like, and I think most people are like this, where it's like when you really love it, you learn like 10 times faster than like when you force yourself. So because I think everything is cool, I'm fine with, like, for example, like, I've been slacking on working on code, or teaching myself like, Python better, because I'm interested in these other things, but I know I will come back to it at some point,
Right.
when I feel like it. And when I come back to it, I'll learn faster than if I just like was setting everything aside and sitting there forcing myself. Like, I'll know when there's a certain thing I want to do with it, or a project that I have. Basically, like once I get back more into like working on games, I know that I'll be messing with that. So I know it's going to happen. I don't need to force it, because it's not like I'm slacking by not working on that. I'm doing something else. So whether it's music or animating or whatever, I'm always doing something and improving at something. And so I know a lot of people like don't maybe I don't know, agree with my way of doing it, but the results kind of speak for themselves, And then it's cool. I have so many different things that I can do. And like I said, like being so kind of like, I don't know, like multi-skilled is leading me down all these like really cool paths where I'm able to combine different aspects of what I do with each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
no, for sure. Yeah. That's called innovation, man.
yeah.
Right? It's not about how creative you are, but the thing is, if you do enough different things here, and you kind of combine that knowledge here, make it a little bit better, that's called innovation, man. That's called innovation right there. So you're an innovator by heart. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I definitely wouldn't call myself that, but I appreciate it.
You definitely are, man.
I'm more of like a self-deprecating type person, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that, man. I would just say you're very interested in different things. And that's okay, man. You know, I used to be the same
yeah,
way too, but then I realized, you know what? If you want to get good at something, you gotta put some time into that mofo, man.
yeah.
And you gotta
And
dedicate.
I definitely like, and I get carried away. Like, I mean, that's how I even got into like stocks. Is like I wasn't even planning on getting so invested into it. Like, I mean, like literally, like with my time and like with my life, it
Yeah,
was just like it was like almost like after months went by, it was like almost like I came out of a coma. I didn't. It was like if like no. How do I even say this? Like, if someone told me to
yeah,
do these things or asked me to, I
yeah,
wouldn't have done that in the
yeah,
same way. But I was just so in love with it. It was
yeah,
just like, I mean, and like when you think about it, it's like learning about cool companies
yeah,
and getting to and being able to make money from that. You
yeah,
know, like you just combine it with investing.
yeah,
And like there's and as you know, there's so many cool companies in the world. And you
yeah,
learn about one and then you discover another and you're like,
yeah,
oh my God, I didn't know that this company existed and that they were working on this, or that
yeah,
this is a new technology that's coming, or that this company's developing this new kind of AI, or like I'm
yeah.
saying, like with gene editing, that's like there's so much cool shit, and then the fact that you can like actually make some money from that, like
Yeah,
it's
man.
just yeah.
Well,
But like I said, like if I was me going to school for that, or I was not forcing myself. It was just so fun.
right, right. No, I mean, making money is definitely, you know, a motivating factor for a lot of people right here, right? I mean, the thing is,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a high in a sense, you know. Oh shit, I just took some money. It's a high. Let's do it again, you know. So it's kind of like a rabbit
Yeah,
hole, and
yeah,
you
you
want to
bring up a
continue
really good point.
that success.
Yeah, and like I would say for if anyone's listening that like it is wanting to get more into investing, my personal I don't give generally like too much like tips and advice, but to me, I would say look up what you're interested in. So like I don't think it makes much sense to like be looking at companies that are working on things or doing things that you don't care about, because it's only going to take you so far. So like for example, like if you're into computers, look at computer companies, look into maybe like companies working on chips, semiconductors or whatever, like software. If you're into like for example, I'll put it this way, like I'm not really into like travel or like airlines or like those kinds of things, but some people love to travel. And so maybe if that's your thing, look at those kinds of companies because it's something that you're already into. And also like the products that you use or services that you take part in, like look into things like that too. Like for example, like if you love Apple products, like if you invest in Apple.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I
that's
would say
pretty
follow
good.
your passions when it comes to like companies, and that'll make it a lot more fun and interesting, and you'll
Right.
do more work than as if you're just like, yeah, because some things are kind of boring. It might not be your thing, and don't waste your time trudging along these things that are just going to bore you, in my opinion.
Agreed, agreed. Very fair point. As they say, only invest in things that you understand. And if it takes you more
Yeah.
than 5 minutes to understand it, I say you just forget about it. That's how I feel about
Yeah, because
things.
I would have people asking me about like what to invest in, and I'm like, I, I invest in these things because I like these things, because I'm obsessed with them. I can't tell someone who knows nothing about, let's say, like additive manufacturing, like these like 3D printing things. Why would I tell someone that knows nothing about that to invest in it? Well, they're not going to. I know that they're not going to follow up. I know that they're not going to look at the competition and new developing technology. So why would I tell someone to invest in this thing when they're not going to be able to do the upkeep on it? Because an investment could be good today, it could be terrible next week because of something that happens.
Right. Well, I wouldn't call that an investment then. That's more of a trade.
Yeah.
If you
You
invest,
know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
there could be some really great company today,
Right.
and then here comes some competition, and they're doing something better. And now where's the money going? It's going to go to that new one. And if you're not watching the landscape of the market that
Right.
you're investing into, you could get burned. And again, like it might have been the best company ever. Like if you go back 20 years, how many companies are still around at the top as compared to 20 years ago? Like probably
Right.
not that many.
Well, yeah, it's true. They do consolidate and they get bought out and
Mhm.
getting shrunken out.
Yeah,
Kodak, for
yeah.
example, here, right? They used to be a market leader. Now they're just
Mhm.
like I don't know what they are now, but yeah.
Yeah, and so probably there was a time where that was a great investment, and
Yeah.
look at it now. So these things change.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's for sure, you know, for sure. Wow. So you're definitely talented. You're a teacher and a musician. Jesus Christ. You are a man of you are a jack of all trades, man. And now you're a successful investor now. Man, oh guys, oh guys, this guy here started only what, a few months ago. This guy is motivation for you guys. You want to get into investing, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and embrace your mistakes and learn from them. Don't expect to be perfect. Like none of us are.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And don't forget mental health here, right? The first rule is to accept yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, before Aaron mentioned something about mental health and everything. So the first rule is to acceptance, okay? Accept you for who you are.
Yeah, and on that note, like mental health is super important to me. Like I've been through so much shit. I deal with mental health issues, and it's something that does not get talked about enough. Like so many people want to like hide their depression or
Why?
hide the fact that they are feeling suicidal or something.
Why?
Like, no, just talk about it.
Yeah,
Day,
man.
right?
Yeah, why? It's okay, dude. You know, if they don't want to hear it, they can walk away. Don't be concerned about them because usually those kind of folks, you don't want to be around them anyway, so it's fine. It's better they leave right now than stick around for a little bit and bug you later, right? So let's leave right now. It's fine. That's kind of,
and that's one of the things that I like love so much about like these Twitter Spaces is that oftentimes we'll have like these mental health chats, and it's crazy how people will come up and share like whether it's embarrassing or depressing or something that they were ashamed of that they felt alone about. Someone will come up and be like, dude, I feel you. I've gone through the same thing. I'm dealing with the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really beautiful thing. That's one of the things I just love the most about these Twitter Spaces. It's just like people getting to really open up with each other and relate on a whole new level.
Yeah, well, because they feel safe, man. You know, it's kind of like I hate to say, I hate to put it this way, but it's kind of the I would call it the sheep effect right here, right? If one does it, the next one's gonna do it too. But in this case here, it's a good thing here. It's not a bad thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everyone says sheep is a bad thing. I think that's not a bad thing. You know, people just follow, right? And if they see someone, I guess, mental health, and they're kind of sharing their negative experiences here, right? The next person's like, you know what? If they were brave enough to do it, so can I. So this is where the sheep. So this is kind of where the sheep effect is actually a good thing, not a bad thing here. So always a pro and con to everything, right? So
yeah, and then there's a sort of like a term that I kind of like made up or metaphor or something that I call like changing your emotional diaper. Like so many people want to just like like keep everything in there, and they're holding on to like a bunch of crap basically that just wears them down. Like
right.
And so to me, I think it's really important to change it basically and let it
right.
Like you're not going to hold on to your crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge advocate for saying it, and you just feel so much better when you let it out. And you know what? Who cares if people don't even understand or can't relate, or if you say something and everyone just goes quiet?
Yeah.
At least you said it. You empower yourself by doing that.
Yeah, man. Back to Aaron here. That is called emotional Dogecoin.
Yeah.
You kind of force it out. It feels terrible, but then you feel great afterwards because it's all out.
Yeah. And that's another point is that like if you just keep basically emotionally crapping yourself and leaving that in there, eventually it spills out and it starts
toxic.
to affect other people.
It's toxic, man. Because the thing is that it'll come out in one shape or form or another. It may be passive aggressive, and maybe just anger, whatever. Just what I mean. It's kind of like I don't know. To me, I feel like the folks who are the most, for me personally speaking, I'm afraid of folks who are just super reserved and super quiet because those mofos are bottling everything up, and anything you say to them that pisses them off, they won't say it to you now, but when they explode, woo, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, and you don't want to be in that situation where you're the one exploding.
Oh yeah.
You regret what you do and say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, Aaron, but you can tell that I wear my emotions on my sleeves. I don't hold it. I just say awesome. I just say where the fuck I don't care, dude. But the thing is that for me, growing up in a lower SES community, right? You get tons of poo talkers, right? About anything. Oh, you wearing Payless shoes? You get shit on for anything you do. So for me, it's like, I mean, it's kind of actually, I would say it's a blessing in disguise because it really makes you I would say a stronger person, and you get really thick skin. It isn't so much I bottle up, but the thing is that it doesn't bother me because it's like, oh, I'm used to it, I guess. I guess that is something you want to be used to, but but I would say in the corporate world, it really helps you out though, because I see some folks in the corporate world here, right? And you can tell some of these folks here, they come from more affluent backgrounds, and they're like, you just said that out loud? Like,
Yeah.
oh no, oh, I could never say that out loud because it's so inappropriate. But you could tell though, these same people, they get very bothered by things, and they'll never say it to you, but they're very passive aggressive, and you can tell they're just like fuming, you know, like, how dare you do that, you know? And like, I won't do that, but I've been told I can't do it though. I'm like, yeah, you can. You can do what you want, dude. You might get fired for it, but it's okay.
Yeah, and I think people are both like it's a combination of like intimidated, but then they have to respect you because like there's nothing like honesty. You know what I mean? Like no one really likes a liar, and so when people see you being honest, like they might not even necessarily like what you're saying, but they have to respect you for doing it.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I've noticed also, well, I mean, at least speaking for myself, you know, in my career that the higher up you go, the more unreserved you don't have to be. And the truth is, even when you are in a lower position, you can still be unreserved. And it's like, it doesn't matter. It is that folks in a lower position, you know, in the company or whatever, folks just think, oh my God, I can't say this and that because I'm only like, you know, X, Y, and Z position. I'm not a pay grade to say X, Y, and Z, but the truth is that if you say it, you will garner more respect as long as what you're saying actually makes sense. I'm not saying go out there and talk shit, you know, but if you see what I'm saying is that if you see a real problem here, don't be the yes man. Be like, no man, this doesn't work out. This is why it doesn't work out. Don't just say yes and go do it the wrong way, you know. Because that isn't how you move up in life or anything really, because you're going to do the work, you're going to be frustrated, upset. Oh, my manager's a fucking dumbass. Why am I doing this way for? Because you don't say anything, you know, but the truth is you can say something. And you know, you may get some backlash for it, but it's okay. It's all good, you know?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like to me, it's always fun. Like I love backlash.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say I love it, but I embrace it though.
Yeah. Because I thrive on like chaos. Like I like disruption. I like basically I love the unknown. So if I can like I feel like I do it respectfully, but I definitely like to sort of stir the pot a little bit.
Okay.
And get things kind of moving, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. It is fun to watch the thing. Yeah, I agree with that. I can't do the same thing myself as well. It is quite interesting and quite fun to see how dynamics shift and if I push this button, you do this. Okay, let me try. It's a lot of fun, dude. It's a lot of fun.
Now it's like a whole new game, man. It's like, okay, here we go.
It's kind of fucked up, but it's actually very fun though.
Yeah, there's a bit of sadism there, a little bit. But,
oh yeah, you know what? The only reason why I actually agree with you because I do the same thing, and I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm sure some of the folks I'm pretty sure some of the folks are like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, it's like on Twitter Spaces. Like there's some people that are like, oh, no drama, don't like, they want everything to be nice and like all like PG, and I'm like, oh,
no,
I love the drama.
It's actually quite well. It actually makes it interesting because everyone's so nice. That's kind of boring here, right? I mean,
yeah. One, that'd be like fake relationships, and then two, like I look at like the drama. Because to me, there's always something to learn. Like everyone's still learning how to like communicate better with each other. And so I look at like a lot of the times when there's like drama, it's sort of like system maintenance.
right.
The space is improving itself. So if everyone's just being fake and whatever, people are going to leave and aren't going to be, like they're not going to be real with each other. They're going to be too careful with what they say. And then that's when things kind of like start to like build up. You'll get someone who explodes because they've gone so long without speaking their truth.
Oh right. Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, the thing is, for me, I was speaking for myself, personally speaking, I was never really into like social media. Like I would never like prior to me making a YouTube account, I never had Facebook. Actually, I still don't have Facebook. Actually, I don't have. I have Twitter now. Before I never used it ever, and like it's been out about for like what 15, 20. I don't know how long it's been, but I never used it before. Instagram. I barely use it either, even though I have one now, but I barely even use it still. So, I mean, for me, it's like, even though, I mean, honestly, I'm still surprised I have so many subscribers because I am like not really into social media at all, Like for the longest time, I'm like, how do you use Twitter? I'm scrolling through it. I'm like, how do you see someone else like, because for me, Twitter is kind of confusing because it's so chaotic, Like there isn't to me, Twitter is kind of like a chat room or something, or a forum. We have threads here, right? You click the thread, you can see all the chat here, right? But you can't really do that in Twitter though. It's more like you follow this thread and it goes everywhere. And for me, it's like so chaotic. I'm like, how do you guys even figure shit out? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. At least for me, because you know I'm not a big social media person, but it's like it's very interesting, very interesting for me to see it. You know, and kind of go through it because I obviously I'm not a boomer. I'm actually a millennial, but I guess in this regard I am a boomer. I'm like, how do you use it, by the way, guys? How do you use this thing?
Yeah, it's funny because like also like you know me, I'm very antisocial. I honestly like in my personal life, like I don't hang out with friends like at all, which is kind of weird to some people. But like I really also I just have so many things I'm always doing. Like I honestly get anxiety when I'm like out. You know, it's just like basically if someone's like, hey, you want to come over and like watch a movie? No, I absolutely do not. I love to be by myself and like you know I'm not very good at like responding to text messages or like on Facebook. Like I have still like you know friends that have messaged me and I have yet to respond. But when it comes to some reason for like Twitter, and all the people that are on there, I'm very social and I care very much about these people, which is so weird. Like
Oh,
I love to keep to myself, but like I think it's just because like I find everyone to be so cool and interesting,
right,
and then for similar reasons.
right.
And I see so many people that are helpful. It's almost like so. I don't know. I find the whole it's not even just Doge community. It's just like
Right,
there's something about the spaces that we tend to be in where there's just some like really amazing and beautiful people in there.
right.
And so yeah, like it's really gotten me out of my shell. Like I have all these like thousands of new friends that I didn't know, you know, a few months ago at all. But now I care very much. Like I think about all these people all the time, and it's so
Right.
weird that you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just never
sure.
works.
Well, to me, it sounds like to me, you sound like a little bit of introvert, but it sounds like you found your place where you feel accepted, and you found a lot of empathetic people, not sympathetic people. And that's kind of part of why you're opening up too, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So you
weird.
feel accepted, you know. It's very
Yeah, it's
nice.
like I like to teach, I like to help, and then I for some reason like
Right.
something that I do in there people find helpful or like I don't know, like it's weird to say, but like I've had people message me and say that like I inspire them, and I'm
Yeah.
like I said before, like I don't know what, but
Yeah.
like and I like the fact that I don't know what it is because like, I literally can't get to my head. All I know is that I'm like, all right, I'll keep saying and I'll keep letting things just pop out of my mouth and
Yeah.
whatever. You know?
Well, you know, it's always cool when folks find what you're doing rewarding. For you, it's probably like, you know, very self-fulfilling, you know, in that kind of regard. It's kind of like, you know,
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say it's weird how it's panned out because like you know it started off with me just getting like pulled up randomly into a space. It was my first time speaking.
Sure.
I was a little bit nervous, and then but I got the first one out of the way, you know, and then I you know ended up speaking and more. And then every time I would speak, I would get DMs from people and you
Yeah.
know, obviously like followers and shit.
Yeah.
And I really don't care about follower count or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just like it's the connection with people.
Yeah.
And I would keep just getting DMs and DMs and people being like, you know, like we appreciate you, we like you.
Yeah.
And then it's weird how like that ended up leading me to like I was saying like those these spaces that I host with like you know Dogecoin Militia and with Jenny, where you know it's led to like more education where you know for example like when we had Rishi Kumar on you know he's an exec from Silicon Valley, you know he works in cloud computing, like he's running for Congress, and I was like I couldn't even believe that I have the opportunity to speak to this person, let alone you know get to ask him questions and educate the audience. And so it's turned into this thing that has become so cool and fun, where you know like I get to do research. I have to like come up with all the questions and like think of how it's going to be for the audience. And you know every time we have these things, like I'm trying to improve the questions, how I talk, how I respond. You know how the whole thing kind of like plays out for people. But it's cool how it just happened so organically.
Right.
I'm really grateful for the experience to be able to, because I love it when people, you know, the space ends and people are like, that was awesome. I learned so much. And like, whatever. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, wow, you know?
No, seriously. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, for me, I personally have a stutter and I talk very, very fast usually, but doing YouTube, I realized that you got to talk at regular people's pace. You can't talk at my pace or my normal pace, you know? So I thought really like force myself to kind of talk slower.
No, I know what you mean. And I definitely stutter too. I'll trip over my words. Like I'll be thinking way too many things at the same time. And then I'm like, oh wait, which I've got like 15 ways now that I can say something, and I'm trying to pick one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for me, it's like a nice way to like, I guess, practice my speaking skills, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it, but it definitely forces me to speak in a more normal pattern, I suppose, or whatever you want to call it. It kind of reminds me of, you know, like whenever you see like, you know, UK singers or British singers right here, right? You know, they have that accent, like, oh, I'm British, I want to go to the loo, right? You know, but then when he but then when they sing, right, they sound like they speaking English, like American English.
Yeah.
You can't even tell they're British. You know what I'm saying? To me, it kind of feels that way to me. It feels like I went from British to like American English here. Probably doesn't make any sense, but that's okay though. One of my weird analogies.
No, because it reminds me of like the first times that I would like, you know, like record myself for like a YouTube video or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you watch it back and you're like, oh wait, that's what I sound like. That's what I talk like.
Yeah.
Move.
You sound ridiculous.
Oh, and like I don't know if you have any like habits that you like still hate of yours, but like anytime that I say
yeah,
dude, like that's one that I'm even conscious of it,
yeah,
but I will still say it a lot.
No.
And every time I hear myself in a recording, I'm just like, I want to like jump off a bridge. Like, why do I do that? Like,
you know,
replace that with something, or even just silence would be better than that's a big one I'm still trying to work.
Well, for me, I learned that whenever I say or I mean, I don't do it too often though. But when I do it though, for me, it means I'm thinking. You know, like like instead of saying I'm being blank and just kind of keeping quiet and kind of thinking about it, I go or So it's kind of like I guess a stopgap. To me, I learned I learned for myself that when I talk, I like it quiet, and I notice that for me that when I'm around my friends or whatever, and we're kind of having, you know, a kind of conversation, if there's a moment of silence, I'm like, okay, what do I say, you know, because the awkward silence, you know what I'm saying? But then I've learned to realize that it's okay to have awkward silences. Embrace it, dude. It's okay. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things you kind of learn and you grow as a person here. And I would say, honestly, YouTube has really helped my speaking skills, or I don't know what the fuck you call it though, but yeah, what do you want to call it? Because it forces you to communicate in a way where it's actually audible and understandable. But even now, you can see my videos sometimes, you know, I watch it back, I'm like, oh crap, but I'm not gonna re-record everything, fuck that shit.
It's funny how, like, sometimes like you say, like you want to say something a certain way, it's not until you go back and watch it, like, oh wait,
I didn't say that though.
Totally better ways to do this, actually, you know, from the audience perspective.
Agreed. But after putting 7 hours in them, you know what, I'll do it next time. I'm like, you know what, sometimes it's just about getting, you know, it's about getting the work out, isn't making it perfect, because if you didn't do that, you probably never finish anything, you know? It's one of those things. Holy shit, Dogecoin has a 16.79. Okay. Dogecoin is going to 16.5. And if Dogecoin breaks 16.5, then I would say, you know what? Run for the hills, folks, because that means we're going to go and sink back to the Titanic, man. I'm not trying to create FUD, folks, but 16.2 is a very strong support, and if that goes, then you know what? There goes Dogecoin. I'm only laughing because I don't want to cry on YouTube, so I'm gonna laugh instead.
I was gonna ask, what are your thoughts on like where it's headed and what's gonna happen with it?
Dogecoin. Well, I mean, again, I'm more of a TA trader, and for Dogecoin, 16.2, like 0.162. I don't like saying other points because too many numbers, you know. So I say 16.2 right there. That's a long-term support, and that's kind of where we broke out of last time before we went to the moon, you know. So if that goes, that means that from a TA perspective here, we will be continuing lower, almost guaranteed. It's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, but very likely, because a lot of folks are TA traders, such as myself, so we kind of keep track of these kind of long-term, like, I guess, how do you say it, milestones, you know? I guess in PM terms, these are milestones for the most part. And in my opinion, currently for the fundamentals of Dogecoin, when I say that, I mean in terms of catalysts, there are none right now, to be honest. There are none. And if there is a catalyst, it's going to be a negative one. For example, case in point, today, Jay Powell wants to get rid of Tether, you know, and replace it with a US version of Tether. So that can be very good for cryptocurrency, right? I mean, I guess it could be positive if you want to see it positive, but to me, I see it as a kind of negative in terms of the crypto industry. And we've seen everything for Dogecoin already. You know, Doge 1 going to the moon, you know, SpaceX putting, you know, Dogecoin, Elon Musk, all his tweets and everything. I mean, literally, I cannot think of any real Dogecoin catalyst. The only thing maybe is possibly a Dogecoin or Ethereum bridge. But right now, that's purely speculation, man. I mean, I can't see that as a very good thing for Dogecoin because, well, I mean, Ethereum is great because they do all these smart stuff, you know, but it's so slow though, right? I mean, what benefit would Dogecoin get if they get put onto the Ethereum network? You know what I mean? I don't see it. And why would someone want to go from Ethereum to Dogecoin? Because the Dogecoin has no quote unquote utility. So I mean, I'm not too sure how it's gonna work. I mean, to me, it sounds like more marketing than anything else. You know?
Yeah.
And from what I've seen in the past too, whenever you see like any kind of Dogecoin technical updates or news or anything, right? It doesn't do shit for Dogecoin. It doesn't go anywhere because no one cares, to be honest. I mean, you know, most people don't understand the techie background, the nerdy stuff. They don't understand it anyway, so it doesn't matter to them. You know what I mean? So, oh yeah, we released Dogecoin 2.0. No one cares because no one knows what it means. And when I say no one, and when I say no one, I mean the majority of people. The ones who want to know, they're gonna know, but the majority, they're not gonna know. And for them, it means nothing to them here, right? But if you see someone like, oh, Elon Musk saying Dogecoin to the moon, then yeah, right? You know, then that's something they can actually understand and wrap their heads around, right? But I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you see anything for Dogecoin in terms of news-wise or catalyst or whatever's?
Nothing that I would say is really going to make it take off, and that's what I was saying before. Like the only way right now that I'm seeing, like other than like adoption in the Robinhood wallet and like whatever. You know, I think it's really just going to come down to it being used more and that community just like really growing and being like active, which you know, I hate to use the analogy of like a religion or like a church, but I really think that's kind of like what it's going to be is like, you know, that because to me, like the strength in it is that do only good every day. I think that's an amazing mentality motto. But I think that needs to be like spread even more. Like it can't just stay on Twitter Spaces. You know, it can't just stay on social media. It needs to actually go out there in the world. And so, unless there's like a huge push from like everyone, like because there's still so many people that like own Dogecoin but don't really care. You know, like they're just in it for the money. They don't really care about the motto or doing anything. You know what I mean? Like they're just hoping that they're gonna like, you know, I've got a friend that has like a ton of it, and they're hoping that it goes to $1 so they can buy a house or like so that you know, like a down payment or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and so that's where like I'm different than someone like that, where it's like I'm not banking on Doge making any sort of like financial difference in my life. Like I could care less about that. I just like the community and the people that I've been meeting and the people that have been gravitating towards that. And I think that if all these amazing people do more cool shit in the world, that is going to be the catalyst. But that's a lot of work, and that's a lot of people that have to do some really cool shit. But if you saw like all like for example, like Elon is kind of a good example. Like, you know, I would say he's mostly loved by the world, and people love the fact that or it says a lot about Doge that he likes it, if that makes sense, right? So when you see the people that you find inspiring that also love Doge, I think that is sort of a catalyst. But that's a big difference from that, and then the billions and tens of billions of dollars that are required to make this thing, you know, grow. You know, so
right.
Yeah. So as for some sort of like technical catalyst, I'm not really seeing that. I think it's going to be like basically a giant movement that needs to make it happen, and that's huge. That's an enormous undertaking. So
right, yeah. I guess that's kind of why I started making YouTube videos too, because I want to share the message as well, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, in my opinion, you know, again, I'm not trying to sound negative or anything towards the Dogecoin community, but Dogecoin is very cultish, in my opinion. It's very cultish.
Yeah.
You know,
you're right, and that's the funny thing about me saying what I am saying is that it's almost like a cult mentality.
It is a cult. It is a cult.
And so I don't want necessarily the cult mentality, but I still like the philosophy. So I think it's if it could be more of a philosophy than a cult, where like especially like where people can and can't do certain things. That's what I don't like. You know what I mean?
Well,
but if people just feel inspired to
right,
just help people out and be charitable and with awesome people,
right,
I think that's cool.
right. But the reason why I see Dogecoin as very cultish is because it's kind of the whole meme movement, you know, like GME or AMC here, right? If you don't have diamond paws or diamond hands, you're almost seen as an outsider in a sense. Like, oh, fuck you, dude. You're a poser. You're not really with the movement here. But the question is, what is the movement? Well, the movement is self-serving. I want to make a lot of money. I'm a real with you guys. That's why I'm here. I want to make a lot of Dogecoin money. I mean, maybe not Aaron here because maybe he's like a romantic here and he believes in the message here. I mean, yes, I do believe in the message here, but I'm really here because I want to make money. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And if everyone and if anyone here says they're not here to make some money, then I'm gonna call you a fucking liar straight up. Because if you don't make money, why are you here, right? If you are here pushing the Dogecoin agenda, it's because it's self-serving and can benefit you. And when I say that, it sounds kind of negative, but it's really not though, right? It's you looking out for your own self-interest, and it's you doing the work to promote your interests. So in my opinion, there is nothing wrong with that. It's not negative or anything. But some folks hear me say that, no, John, you're putting a very negative spin on it. No, it's not. Because everyone is very self-serving. Look at Elon Musk here. If he isn't self-serving to make Tesla successful, then he will not have a platform to speak on where everyone listens to him, right? So it's kind of like that in a sense, or whatever, you know. And the thing is, you know, if you're successful, people listen to you, right? I mean, compare different YouTubers here, right? Say me to someone with like 1 million subs. They're gonna look more credible because success is defined by how many dollars or subs you have on YouTube. So it's kind of like that in a sense. So I mean, like, case in point here, look at Million Token here, right? What's that guy, Tech Lead or something? Tech Lead, do you know by chance, Aaron? That whatever the Tech Lead, I don't know, whatever his name is here, right? Million Token, all of a sudden it's like what, 5 million market cap or 15 million, I forget exactly what it was, I forgot already, but this guy's pushing his agenda here, right? He's like, oh yeah, I already made 1 million tokens, blah, blah, blah. And now it's worth like $90 now or something. I mean, yeah, it's fantastic. You can definitely make money off that thing, but it's very self-serving though. And some folks are more honest about it, right? I mean, case in point here, Upshot. That mofo was a great actor. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Homeboy was an amazing actor. Yes, you can hate him for being a piece of shit scammer, but guess what, dude? He's scammed, he's working, and right now he's probably on some island chilling out, right? He probably sold his house and moved out of the country or got out of Dodge, you know? I don't know where he lives. I'm just saying, though, you know what I mean? Because the guy doesn't seem like this is his first rodeo. I'm pretty sure he's done this before because the guy was so, like, calculating, doing his shit. It's so calculated. It wasn't random at all. And I'm not sure if you guys seen his video, right? If you saw his video, I mean, holy shit. It definitely wasn't an apology video. If anything, homeboy came back and said, haha, fuck you. I got all you guys. Bye, Felicia. You're done. You're done.
But he's saying it wasn't a rug pull while explaining how he pulled the rug.
Exactly. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched Breaking Bad, but if you have seen Breaking Bad, then the scene where Walter White on season, I don't know what season it was though, right? But basically Walter White created Grayscale company, you know his company where his friends took it over and he got paid pennies for a dollar here, right? And then he was a creator of the blue meth thing, you know? And then the show turned into a point where Walter White could not accept the fact that someone else created his stuff here. So he wanted to take credibility for his amazing work, even though it is fucked up work here. But it was so amazing, he wanted to take credit for it here, right? So to me, when I see Upshot doing that kind of thing, it kind of feels like Walter White, you know, where this guy is like a failure in real life here or something, you know? Like he's super smart, but he get nowhere in life because he's fucking awkward, you know? But then all of a sudden here, it works here, and he scammed you guys, and he comes back and says, yup, I did that. You know why? Because of my life, I got fucked over so many times, so it's funny, I did to you guys. I am so proud of myself. I'm gonna pat myself on the back here, you know, and I'm gonna leave with all your hard-earned money here and say, fuck you guys. I mean, like, I was like, holy shit. I mean, if there was ever a person to rug pull, if there's any way to do it, that's the way to do it, man. I'm not saying I would do it or anything, you know. Is it legal? Sure. Is it ethical? Fuck no, right? Fuck no. But legal, absolutely. It's cryptocurrency. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And did you hear Upstart say you should have never gone to crypto? You know it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, bro, really? I was cracking watching. I was watching. I think I was like, oh my god, that is like fucking crazy, dude. I mean, did you see Aaron his thing?
Oh yeah, I could not believe, like, that was not what I was expecting. Like, I thought he was gonna say, oh, my computer was hacked, or it wasn't me, or like whatever. He's like, no, I saw it go up.
I fucking did it.
65%, like all the, like this a certain amount.
Yep.
He admits to having money in it. And
Yep.
with his son.
Yep.
And he said it went down like what 15, 20, 30%, and he's like cashing out, and he told his son to cash out.
Yeah.
Like, what? Did you really just say that? Like,
Yep. He even admitted to that shit. And the reason why he admitted to it because he's so fucking proud of himself, you know? He's like, yeah, dude, I did it. I am Upshot. I did such a fucking good job. I tricked all you dumb motherfuckers. And you know what? It did work though. So whatever. I guess kudos to him, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, if that was me in his situation, and let's just say like whales were manipulating the price or whatever, and then causing it to dump. Personally, I would just hold, and if I was going to say anything to anybody, I would tell my audience and everyone I know, like, maybe get out of it because these whales are manipulating. But me personally, and maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe if I was in a situation, I would take the money and run.
You would.
But me personally, I feel like I would just hold it, and I would eat it and then just take it.
No.
I don't know.
No, Aaron. Now you're lying. Now you're lying because.
I don't think so.
I think so, bro.
I don't think I'm lying.
I think so, bro. Well, I'm not calling you a liar. What I'm saying is that trading assets, cryptocurrency, or stocks, it's not a noble cause. It's literally a zero-sum game. If someone wins, someone loses. It's that cutthroat. It's that black and white. So if you're gonna say I'm gonna sit here and hold everything while all you guys sell, that's very self-punishing, in my opinion.
Yeah. That is my style, to be honest. But also, I will say one thing on that too, is that like I wouldn't have like too much money in there either, so that if something like that happened, I wouldn't be stressed. Because he was kind of marketing or selling the coin as if it's just like for fun and for tipping. So like the mentality, didn't seem on the outside as if it was supposed to be like, oh, I'm going to get rich off of this. And I think that's why I say that, because if that was my project, then I'm like, this is really just for fun, just to show appreciation,
right.
that type of thing. Right. That's why I would feel that way. Like if the goal was, no, I'm actually going to make money with this thing, then probably I would do it. You know what I mean? Because it's
right.
like, well, my $50,000 has turned into $250,000. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like, but if it really was like not about the value, but at the same time, it's like, what's the point of even putting your fiat into it? You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all marketing in my opinion, but the truth is, it's very black and white. Either you make money or you lose money. And in the stock market, yeah. I don't know. When I hear folks, like what's his name, Pro the Doge millionaire, I'm holding till I get like whatever $1 million. I mean, that's fantastic, but I'm not trying to talk shit or anything. But I mean, like, these people here, they make it sound like it's some kind of noble thing, to hold your fucking Dogecoins. It's not noble. Yeah. It's self-preserving. It's instinct. I want to make a lot of money, I mean, but people spin it as, oh yeah, man, I'm doing it for the cause. I'm doing it for the people. Don't you know you're doing it for you?
Yeah.
I mean, like when you sell, when you make your $2 million worth, right? Am I gonna get a percent of that shit for the people? No, right? You're gonna be making a video saying, "Hey man, guess what? I bought a new Lambo. Thank you guys. Whatever." It's just like, well, I'm like, what the? and people are, in my opinion, people are just kind of stupid. They get too caught with that kind of shit. Oh yeah, I don't want to be part of a team. There is no team in the stock market. It's either you win or I lose, or I win, you lose. There's, But the only difference is that if you're in that group where you're all buying here and pushing it up, then yeah, right.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of like me against you, really. But I don't know. To me, when I hear it, it is kind of like I don't know. It's kind of annoying to hear that kind of stuff. It's like, and then I'm gonna say right now, who's gonna believe you? Apparently, a shitload of people. That's a part that kind of kills me. I was like, damn, really, dude? Oh my god. I mean, I guess I'm being too honest now, but whatever.
No, it's always appreciated.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it's better you don't say it next time.
Yeah, and people need to hear that, because like I think everyone, if that's all people are hearing, is that people are only going to hodl, you know what I mean? But the reality is that most people are looking to cash out. You know, they need to understand that as a reality because it's part of their investment.
Yeah,
it affects their investment. So.
Exactly.
It's like, for example, like when Dogecoin hits $1, or if it hits $1,
yeah,
you better believe it's going to tank. You know what I mean? Because so many people are planning on selling at that point.
Yeah.
And so, you know, yeah.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you. You know what I mean? I totally agree with you. And it's kind of one of those things, you know, it just gets romanticized too much and too much marketing, you know? It's just like, I don't know. To me, I feel like people need to be more real in that kind of regard. Instead of saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a fucking Doge diamond hands," you know, I'm being super real with you guys. No, you're not. You're only holding it because you want to walk away with a fucking new house. Oh, Bitcoin is dumping. Let me see. Bitcoin is Bitcoin dumping right now. Let me see. I don't even know. Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure it is though. If Dogecoin is sinking, usually Bitcoin, yep, it's dumping too.
Oh yeah. Wow, yeah.
30,000. Okay, it's
29.
It's currently at 30,000 right here. It's one of my supports here. If this cracks, you can say bye Felicia to Bitcoin for sure.
When I look on Coinbase, it says it's at 29,732. 29,732.
Oh well, I don't know. I'm looking at Binance here. It says 30,126, but I mean whatever. It's close enough. Doesn't matter. Bitcoin's Bitcoin, right? Wow, this is crazy.
On Robinhood, it says 29,698, 93, 87. Yeah, it's jumping around a bunch, but yeah.
Oh snap! My Dogecoin order just triggered right now. Cool. I just bought. How many I buy right now? Let me see. I don't even know what I bought. You know, you put your orders in, you kind of forget about it, right? Oh, I bought 3,000 Dogecoin right now. Fantastic. Part you're better to buy, but I don't care. I buy my supports, whatever. Wow.
Yeah, the whole crypto market seems to be doing pretty bad right now.
I don't know, man. Do you think, in your opinion here, do you think Bitcoin is going to go any lower? Or do you think it's going to be where it's at? Or what do you think, man?
To be honest, man, like,
what's your take?
I'm still pretty surprised that, you know, like,
yeah,
Bitcoin is in the press, like, you know, it's getting adopted in, what was it, like,
El Salvador.
El Salvador.
Yeah.
You would think that this thing would be just skyrocketing, and so it blows my mind, honestly, that like this is completely unexpected to me. Like I would have assumed with everything going on, you know, with the Bitcoin conference, there's so many super wealthy people that seem to love Bitcoin. What the hell is going on? You know,
right?
So it's very strange to me. Because I think people were assuming, you know, 100K or 200K by the end of the year. I mean, is it even going to hit 50K? Is it even going to hit 40K by the end of the year? Like the way it's going right now, it's just like it's insane to me.
Well, if you're saying that, then that means you also, if you're saying if Bitcoin is going to reach 100K or 50K, if that's even going to happen, so if that doesn't happen, that means Dogecoin cannot go to 50 cents either, because, you know, Dogecoin and Bitcoin, they're kind of tied together for the most part.
Yeah, and on that point also, like, it's very strange to me that it is also like tied together with Bitcoin. Like that is
why
that it doesn't make any sense to me.
Why not?
Like, for example, like
it does.
Because okay, so Bitcoin is its own thing. Okay, so I'll put it this way. It's like to super simplify it. You have a person over here that only has Bitcoin, and then you have another person that only has Dogecoin. So this guy over here starts to sell his Bitcoin. He's not selling this guy's Dogecoin. So like it's just like they're not attached, but obviously in some way they are. And so I'm not saying I don't recognize that it happens that way, but I just don't feel like, you know, oh, Bitcoin's dropping. Oh, I'm going to sell all my Filecoin. Oh, I'm going to sell all my Ethereum. Oh, I'm going to sell all my Mana. Like, that's just so bizarre to me. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, unfortunately, most folks aren't like you.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem to be more the exception than the norm, you know. at least in this regard.
Like if crypto is supposed to be decentralized, to me this means it's
not
centralized.
Well, the thing is, to me, is like when I hear folks saying DeFi, decentralized Bitcoin, all that kind of crap here, but yet these same folks have their coins in Robinhood or a Binance or like Coinbase or whatever's. That isn't the very definition of cryptocurrency. You're supposed to put everything into a cold wallet. When you leave when you leave your coins on exchange, it's centralized. It's centralized, you know. It's not a custodial wallet anymore. That means they're holding your shit for you, and you're basically trading, you know, tokens in a regard. I mean, not IOUs basically until you actually cash out or move it onto your own personal wallet, you know, on the side. But I don't know, man. I feel like cryptocurrency has definitely taken a lot of marketing here. I still think it's very good, but in my opinion here, in a few years from now, you're going to see tons of consolidation. And in my opinion, you may only see maybe only like 5 or 6 cryptocurrencies come out in probably 10 years time. There will probably only be maybe like 5 or 6 cryptocurrencies in the world is still there. Everything else will disappear and be a memory, in my opinion here, because it's a lot of garbage, to be honest.
Yeah, and also like at some point, because there's still a lot of projects that are still trying to work on their actual utility, like ADA, for example. You know, like Ethereum is still improving, and so I think people are going to lose interest in these like gamble shit coins that keep popping up every day, like baby whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And just be looking at like what's cool about the actual thing, which I think is like missing a lot right now, where like people are just again like looking to chase the money, but not they don't even know what like for example, people will get in on some like token and don't even realize that it's just like a fork or a copy and paste of another one that already exists. But yet they're gonna like invest in it. You know what I mean?
That's funny you mentioned that because I actually invested into herpes.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is,
but you know what it is, right?
I know what it, no, well, actually, when I bought it, I didn't know what it was. It's actually, funny story on Melissa. I guess she's the herpes marketer or whatever, you know. But at the time, I didn't know that. I was basically doing a live stream on Saturday, you know, in the morning about some Dogecoin TA stuff over here, right? And I saw her message on you know a YouTube chat saying, "Oh, herpes." I'm like, "What the fuck is that? Herpes? What the hell?" And I'm like, "What is that?" And she kind of gave a little story about it. I'm like, "Oh my god, I gotta buy some. How do I buy it?" Because it was so stupid. The story like, "Oh yeah, you know, it was created because of you know this guy who had like a herpes on his lip or something." Blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and that's how that's how it was made. I was like, you know what, I gotta have some. I don't know why, but I gotta buy it though. It was literally just like that. I mean, no, like I didn't know what it was. I didn't care what it was. It just sounded so fucking retarded. I had to buy some.
Yeah, and see that's I love that. Like I think it's fine for people to do that. And like for example, like I love Queef token. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No.
But like you know,
No.
but yeah, it's basically probably the exact same thing. It's probably another copy and paste.
Yeah.
I just like I like the person who runs it.
Yeah.
I like the name. It's silly.
Yeah.
And yeah, do I think it's gonna you know make me a millionaire?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
But I like the person because it's also for charity. It's for like
Right.
people, for women who can't have children,
Right.
And also for military vets. I'm like, you know what, I can get behind that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so like I think we can definitely still have fun with these things.
Yeah.
But it gets dangerous when people are like, oh, like you know, like so whatever amount you have, you probably have like trillions and maybe hundreds of trillions of tokens.
Well,
know, and for someone to be like, oh, I can't wait till this hits a penny or 10 cents.
Oh no.
You know, and it's like,
I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen or anything. But the thing is that when I first bought it, I had no idea about who was behind it. I mean, I heard a story and I bought it pretty much for that reason there. But then once I learned more, I'm like, oh, actually, okay, there is a real story behind this thing. It's like, oh, okay, the guy's a joke, you know, blah blah, and they kind of made it, you know, overnight or something, and they kind of made it better. I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. But when I first initially bought it, though, it's just random, just because it sounds so ridiculous. I just had to have some. I don't know why. And the thing is that I think that was my first BSC token or whatever you want to call it. Before, I would never buy anything on PancakeSwap or Uniswap. I always say no to other stuff, but this is the one that got me.
yeah.
Always something that gets you, right? But whatever. I mean, I still have it though. I haven't sold it or anything, but I don't know. I don't even care. It's just for fun.
Yeah, exactly. And then if it takes off, then whatever, you're gonna be a multi-trillionaire.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put it back into Dogecoin. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But yeah, and yeah, man. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Aaron, but did you know that if you use like Bitcoin or Dogecoin to do like transactions, you actually need to pay a tax on it too. Did you know that?
I kind of assumed that a little bit, but yeah, since I don't do that very often, yeah, I guess I don't know that much about it.
Oh no, I'm just asking because you know, when I hear people advocate, you know, use your Dogecoin or whatever's, the reason why I don't use mine is because I did some research into it here, right? So basically, so say I buy a Dogecoin at 1 penny here, right? You know, and it goes to say $1, just for easy math here, right? And say I buy a pack of gum here for like, you know, $2 here, right? So I use 2 Dogecoins, you know. So I basically, you know, do a capital gains on $1.98 here, right?
I was gonna say,
And by like 38% or something, you know. You know, so like what, 64 cents or something, or 72 cents, you know what I mean? And then I get my pack of gum here. But the thing is that you need to keep track of all that shit at the end of the year if you want to do your taxes, you know what I mean? Because obviously there's no like Robinhood, you know, account where they can give you your statement here, your what's it called, 1099 or something, or whatever it's called, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you need to keep track of every single transaction, no matter how big or small, and do the percentage, all that kind of stuff. I was like, you know what? Forget this, dude. This is way too much work. It was me. I would just sell my coins and use like the fiat US dollars. It's way easier and less less convoluted for tax reason here. And yeah, man. So for me, that's kind of why I never use it. It isn't because I don't want to, because I'm like, fuck this, dude. It's a lot of work, dude. It's not worth it, man. At least in my opinion, you know. But whatever.
Yeah, and then tack on if they end up also like literally adding more tax for crypto, you know, it's.
Yeah. It's kind of funny too when I see all these guys kind of day trading it. Oh yeah, man, you know, I bought Dogecoin at 16 cents and I sold it at 16.5. It's like, okay, do you realize how many transactions you need to keep track of in a year? It's like, okay, have fun, buddy. I don't want to do that, but hey, if you hire a CPA, they're gonna charge you a lot of money to type in every single fucking one, you know. It's gonna be I mean, most folks getting to Dogecoin, they're like new traders, new investors, what you want to call them here, right? So they haven't seen a tax man in a year and how it works. But I'm pretty sure at the end of this year, beginning next year, when they actually do it, they're like, oh my god, what did I get myself into? It's gonna be such a rude awakening. It's well, you know, I'm being cynical here, but
Dogecoin is coming back up a little bit.
yeah.
What happens? Like I said, I don't even care. I might just buy some for the fun of it.
Yeah, I just bought some right now. Well, before it triggered a few minutes ago, but whatever. Yeah, my limit buy thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. If anyone's in the live stream here, does anyone want to ask Aaron any kind of questions or anything in the chat? Like, you know, ASL or something or whatever. So I'm sure he'll answer that. Just teasing, by the way. Don't ask him that question. Okay, well, I guess not then. Well, Aaron, I think I'll be ending live stream then. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been talking for a while, and we can always chat again too.
Yeah, man. We should definitely hook up again, you know, and do a chit chat, right? I didn't realize it's already been 2.5 hours, you know, so it kind of went longer than I expected, but it's okay. It was very fun. I'm not complaining or anything. I just didn't really look at the time, to be honest. So.
Yeah, and I was gonna say honestly, like if we were gonna do this again, like, you know, we can even do more like you know, in some of these spaces, you know, some of the bigger rooms, we can even you know, hype it up a little bit. I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
Even more subscribers.
No, for sure. I just kind of did it's kind of like a last minute kind of thing, and you know, I kind of want to change up a little bit too. I kind of want to do more interviews and kind of do more chit chat. I guess more podcasty kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's kind of more fun than just making videos, staring at a screen and talking to myself all the time. It's kind of boring. So this kind of a little more fun. You know what I mean? That's all it really was for me. So I do want to thank Aaron for joining. He's a lot of fun. He's a very good sport and very well-spoken guy. So if you guys don't follow on Twitter already, go follow him. It's at what's it again? The Aaron something? Let me see.
Yeah, at the Aaron Bowley.
Yeah, at the Aaron Bowler. It's literally on a thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was fun, Aaron. I will catch you on next one. And bye, everybody here. And obviously we'll stay in touch and do another one in the future. Okay, man?
Absolutely. And thanks for having me. And really good to talk to you.
Cool, man. All right. Thanks, dude. Catch you later, man. Bye.
Yeah, take it easy, man.